All right, guys, let's get started. Kind of dismal today. I wonder what happened to all your classmates. Has your class always been like this on attendance? All right, let's do my check. Miss Autumn, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, my
can-
mic wasn't really working that well yesterday. I don't know if it
Okay,
was the other computer I was on.
I can hear you, Miss Autumn. I can hear you, Miss Nago. Clayton, can you hear me? Let's do my check.
Yes, sir. Clayton's here.
All right, Faith, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about Miss Liliana? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
David, my check.
Yes, sir. I'm present.
Juan Diego, can you hear me? My check.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. And I know Miss Kayla can hear me. What about
I'm here.
Who's logged on the iPhone? Who's logged on the iPhone, guys?
Like out of all of us, or
Yeah, there's somebody's logged in the iPhone.
I'm on an iPhone. I mean,
No. I can see your name, but there's on my screen. There's somebody that's logged in with their iPhone. There's no name on it. If I don't know who you are, then you get no attendance.
It's Steven, I'm trying to fix it.
All right. So we have Juan Diego, Rashi, David, Autumn, Kayla, Stephen, Clayton, Liliana, Faith on today. The rest are absent. Not good, guys, not good. All right. So did you guys get a chance to go on the portal and take a look at the last week 6 on your final project? Anybody?
Yeah, I looked at it a little bit more.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on that one?
It's interesting because it's kind of going over what I've been wanting to do. I've had this cafe idea that I've been wanting to go over, and like thinking about the cost is something that I kind of was avoiding doing, but I think it's a good idea to go over if I actually want to make it happen.
Okay. You guys have about, what is it? Less than, this is week 2. So you got about 4 weeks and a half left of this class. All I can tell you is your final project is going to take a lot of time to get it done, especially the recipe cost cards. Now you guys went over spreadsheets on week 1, right? Last week? Did you guys create your spreadsheets last week? Anybody?
I don't remember going over spreadsheets, but someone mentioned that they had seen it.
Okay.
We didn't do any spreadsheets last week. The only thing he asked us for was our resumes.
Okay. Spreadsheets are very important, guys. I love spreadsheets. I have a lot of different spreadsheets. You know, I can share with you guys if you guys would like to. They're going to come in handy in the future. I taught restaurant ops. I've been teaching restaurant ops quite a while, and even last block, we worked on creating Excel spreadsheets on week 1. So they learn how to create the spreadsheets. You know, Excel, Google Docs, they're the same. Just Google Docs, you can share and they can see them live while somebody's working on them. On the portal, there's some spreadsheets, and on week 6, there's about 9 or 14 recipe cost cards on there. So if you guys have not taken a look at them, I suggest you guys go ahead and take a look at them, because when it comes down to it, even nine items, which the portal calls for, is going to take some time. So imagine, okay, you got a hamburger on your menu, right? How you gonna find out what it costs to make? Okay, the hamburger bun, the sliced American cheese, the burger patties. It is 4 ounce, 6 ounce, 8 ounce. What about 2 slices of onions, slice of tomato, maybe an ounce of shredded lettuce, maybe some sauce, ketchup, mayonnaise, whatever goes in the hamburger. What about a side of French fries? What does it take to cost the recipe out? Okay, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's going to take you some time. On the portal on week 6, there is an inventory built in for you guys. Okay. Also, there's labor costs, there's food costs, standardized recipe costs, costing cards, all those things. So when you submit your project, I think I showed you guys one project yesterday. Somebody had made a menu. They had the recipe cost cards, they had the labor forecast, and so forth, so on. I'm only telling you guys this because, again, this is going to go by really quick. I know it's 3.5 hours long, this class. I usually dedicate I believe week 5 and part of week 6 to help them cost of the recipes. Like I said, I don't know what your concept is. So Ms. Autumn, you were thinking about your concept. What kind of concept are you looking at?
I really like RPG games, and my boyfriend likes video games, and we thought of an idea of trying to bring them together in some kind of cafe, and not food alone, but having merchandise like selling games, anime themed stuff as well.
Okay. One of my students last block did his concept like that. He actually called it DLC, I believe. I'm gonna see if I can pull that project so I can share with you guys, so you guys can start hopefully thinking about it. So I got a second screen here. Here we go.
That's the good thing about the entrepreneurship. I already have that all completed. I did entrepreneurship last block.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is similar to this one, but this one is more of front of the more back of the house. Entrepreneurship, talks about the demographics. You do have some recipe cost cards on there too as well. You have to go ahead, create the logo, create the menu, which is great. And the project can apply to this one. It's a little bit different. It goes more in depth in the back of the house. I taught both of them before. Even now, I'm teaching an entrepreneurship in my 5 p.m. class. So it's a little bit different.
Huh.
So yeah, if you have it, that's great. Now you know where you're walking into, and you know that takes time. It takes a lot of time. So let me see if I can share with you guys a project from my last block. Here we go. Okay. So gaming, right? Let me see if I can. Here we go. So with gaming, one of my students, James Restaurant, they call it DLC, down to lick and chop. Includes with I don't know if you guys into video games or not. That's his little bio, because I did ask him to create a little bio on the menu to let the customers know about your concept, where you come from, and why the mentality was to create your restaurant. So this is his little bio. He said about us. Background: we are a veteran-owned establishment that strives to entertain and provide you with the best experience possible. All of the item names are of gamers that the owner took inspiration from. We always appreciate your feedback, and you can follow us on the following social media platforms. Ours operation Monday through Sunday, 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. This is his slideshow, okay? And I go ahead and encourage them to add those social media stickers on their menus. Again, social media is free advertising. You guys know all that very well. Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, everything you can find to advertise is not going to cost you money, okay? Location, he chose Round Rock, okay? This is the recipe cost card, okay? And again, they created the recipes on the first week, and I showed them how to break down a menu item and how to cost it out. So here it is. He said, here we see the raw cost versus the retail cost. The food cost percent is 21%. Anytime in the industry, your food cost percent is below 30, you're making money. You're taking the profit home in your pocket. If it's above 30, that piece of the pie is going to be very dismal. Again, it's all about making money in this industry. Yes, you know how to cook, awesome. More power to you. You know the recipes, yes, awesome too. You know how to decorate it and all that good stuff, that's great. But a huge part of this business is about making money. If you don't make money, the next person behind you is going to knock you off your pedestal, is going to take your job, okay? So he said a good average food cost is 30%, 21% equals excellent. Average ticket price is $34. That means if somebody walks into his restaurant and orders 3 things off his menu, that equals to about $34. That's a main, starter, main, and dessert. So he's got his recipe. He's got a cover sheet here, as you can see. The Garden Burger is costing him $1.96. $10 his selling price or retail cost. Gio's Eagle, $2.44. His cost in retail, $14. All the way down to the last Hollow Darks Spire chocolate cake. It cost him $4.15, selling it for $13. Okay, his overall food cost is 21%. And if I click on the link here, it takes me to the hopefully. No, it doesn't take me to the recipe cost cards. Okay, and the scheduling too. He's got a link. Can't open it. And again, he devises schedule according to his check average, daily sales. Check average turns per day for meal service equals daily sales times 7 equals weekly sales. And from that, he drew his schedule. Okay. Here is the appetizers. Okay. Again, it's all gamer theme. He's got wings, hand batter fried wings in a sauce of your choice. He's got sauces. Cara is king, a medium buffalo sauce with a small kick. Daily apricot, kick-ass heat with a little sweet. Loca Monkey, that Thai peanut sauce with jelly on the side. Half a basket of 10 wings, $10, 7 wings. Full basket, 16 wings, 14 wings, $16. Gamer basket, 21 wings, $25. Gamer sticks, crispy breaded fried mozzarella cheese sticks, $7. Rat-a-tats onions, Lone Star batter and fried onions, $8. Jingy Princess poutines. You guys know what poutines are?
The fries with gravy, right?
Right, fries with gravy and cheese curds up in the Northwest, in Ohio, that area. Okay. Also French fries. Okay, poutine, fries tossed in the creamy brown gravy, cheese curds topped with the cheddar cheese, $10. Add roast beef, that's $16 altogether. Okay, so $6 extra. Gamer feast, your choice of tossed wings, 4 onion rings and 4 gamer sticks, $14. Okay. Single player, Joker's cool brisket sandwich, cool smoked brisket, 2 slices of pepper jack cheese, 2 slices of cheddar, all on sourdough bread, $12. Gio's Ego, double patty melt with an Angus beef or sourdough, bread with the jalapeno peppers, mushrooms, onions, and cheddar cheese, $14. The Gamer Burger, half a pound Angus beef burger, cooked to your specifications, served with lettuce, tomatoes, onions, cheddar cheese, and bacon, and a pretzel bun. I think it's got like $10 on that one. The Matt Millen, a loaded Philly cheesesteak on a hoagie roll with green peppers, onions, and provolone, $12. Rabbit Food, salad toss and honey lemon vinaigrette with tomatoes, avocado, onions, boiled eggs, shredded cheese, $8.
How do you get that to an FDA-approved drug? What's the process?
Add chicken, $10.50.
The process is...
And he's got the disclaimer at the bottom. Consuming raw, undercooked meats and may increase the risk of foodborne illnesses. I also got to have your disclaimer at the bottom of the menu, just like any other restaurant. Desserts, bonus level, Vampire Fiji Dark Chocolate Brownie with dark chocolate brownie top with vanilla ice cream and strawberry sauce. $10. Danny Webb's fried cheesecake, fried with red velvet cheesecake balls, homemade buttercream dipping sauce, $10. Bugsy Buckaroo key lime pie, tangy sweet sauce pie with a graham crackers, crust topped with a whipped cream, $9. Young Lecter's creme brulee, banana flavored custard topped with a thin layer of sausage hardened, sugar hardened to golden crust brownie. So this is the menu that he created. Okay, this is what he made. Okay. So you guys are going to be responsible of making your menu for your last project. And again, I think it calls for 9 items, 3, 3, and 3. Okay. And he's also got his own website here. Okay. He created a slide for his project. So it's coming. And the reason why I say it's coming is because it's going to take you the time to custom the recipes. Now you're saying that you have your entrepreneurship project from a last class, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take you to cost the recipes out?
It took me like 2 or 3 full days. 'Cause I kept getting messed up.
Head on, right?
Huh?
Head on, right?
Yeah.
It was like nonstop.
Yeah. Just got
Okay.
through it.
The recipes are take a long time to make. Okay. Let me see if I can pull some up here real quick. Here we go. I'm gonna share with you guys this one right here. Okay. And again, the reason that I'm telling you guys is give you guys heads up. It's going to come fast and furious, and it's going to take time to go ahead and make those recipes. Okay. Here's the recipe cost cards. Here's what we created on the Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So that's his cover sheet. He's running at 21%. Now we didn't use the recipe cost cards in the portal. They created their own, and I helped them along the way how to cost the recipes. I think you guys are going to use the ones in the portal, which are fine too. Okay, but I wanted them to make sure that they understood how to create such a program, because you can buy any kind of program in the store. You can buy the software, you can install it, but if you're watching your pennies left and right, then you're gonna resort to being innovative and creative and create your own that fits your property. Okay, so here we go. Burger. Okay, this is his burger recipe cost card. He's got burger patty, cheddar cheese, bacon, lettuce, tomato, onions, and pretzel bun. The burger patties costed him 94 cents. Cheddar cheese, 14 cents. Bacon, 24 cents. Lettuce, half an ounce, 11 cents. Tomato, 0.2 ounce, that's 3 cents. Onion, 0.2 ounce, 14 cents. Pretzel bun, 7 cents. On here on the left-hand side where it says cost to serve, there's a formula plugged in. It's taking this D6 multiplying by F6. If you guys know Excel spreadsheet formulas, this is what it takes to calculate that price, and it just copy and paste all the way down. Here, the formula bar, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the formula that's plugged into this cell right here too, okay? Bottom line, it tallies everything. So here, it says raw cost is summing all these ingredients, all these right here, okay? So total recipe for this total cost for the recipe is $1.96. Okay, it's in. He's projecting to sell it at $10. So he's figuring out a food cost percent at 20%. Gio's Ego, same thing. Everything that goes into that dish is right here. Matt Mellon, everything that goes into that dish is right here. The Joker, the rings, the Gamer Feast, the batter, sticks, wings, poutines, salad, everything's attached to that sheet. Now, this, like the romaine iceberg onions, on the entrepreneur project, how do you, did they show you guys how to price the recipe out, where to pull those prices from?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Was it easy?
It was all right. I mean, I figured it out.
Okay. So that's what is it takes time, guys. It really takes time. Okay. So he's got them all down here all the way to the last dessert, chocolate cake, strawberry sauce. Okay. So it's going to take some time for you guys to finish this project. My suggestion for you guys, I know you're in Chef Cliff's class, is to start thinking about your final project and start hopefully creating your menu. Okay, get a jump on it. It's going to take some time. Okay, along with that, again, you have an inventory sheet on your on your portal on the homepage. Take a look at that and start figuring out how to break those recipes out. Okay, how to cost them out. Okay. Again, it's going to take some time. So yeah, first week was all about spreadsheets, creating a recipe cost card, and we went into creating a schedule. Okay. So like I said, guys, if I were you, I start on as soon as possible. If you have one, that's great. But take a look at it, revise it, because if you have made some mistakes on it, you might find your own mistakes later on. You can probably use, I don't know if it's going to let you use the same project. I usually do. If you have entrepreneurship beforehand, you can use a project, but it has to be modified to this class. But that's me. Okay. Any questions?
Sheriff,
Yeah, go ahead.
I did notice that he had on there a website.
Yes.
Is it compulsory that you have a website on the project, or you would recommend to have one?
It all depends on the instructor. I always tell my students, I give him the heads up since day one, week one. I told him I need a menu with 15 items, 5 starters, 5 mains, 5 desserts, everything laid out properly, the fonts, the colors, the logo, hours of operation, little bio history, the social media that you guys saw on it. And on top of that, I also asked for all the recipes to be costed out, every single one of them, and to give me a cover sheet for the recipe cost card. So menu, recipe cost cards. And I push them to give me a schedule according to their check average and the daily sales, weekly sales at 24%. So they have to create a schedule. And the 4th item, I said, if you guys want extra credit, is create a slideshow. Okay, that's worth extra credit. More extra credit, you want to create a website, that's more extra points on your grade. So I always tell them, it's always nice to think about the future and how you can envision your establishment to be, or your concept, and then start working at it hard so you can make it as a business plan. So when you're done with this class, not, oh yeah, I'm done with that one, forget about it, so forth, so put it aside. But you can actually take this with you, to the bank, and maybe ask for a loan or start working for your concept. So again, everyone is different. If you want to create your website, you may. If you want to do a slideshow, you may too. It's all up to you. But with me, they get extra credits.
Okay, got it. And I like the idea that you said it has to be something you're proud of and proud enough to take to a bank and say, can I get a loan with this plan that I have?
Correct. And again, we're not looking to be 100% perfect, but we want to make sure that we give you the tools enough to understand what it takes to create a business, what it takes to run it and operate it, and how to be successful, and along the way, how to go ahead and start acquiring hopefully a loan or get some funding for your project, because it's going to take at least $250,000, maybe 250, depending on the location. If you walk into a brick and mortar restaurant that is already set, house all the equipment, everything else, it might take you less than that because everything's already in there. If you're building it from the ground up, it's going to take you a little bit more than that. If you're having a food truck, then it's going to take you less than that, because the food truck may cost you $60,000, $70,000 if it has all the equipment already allocated inside. So it all depends what path you want to go. But yeah, this is a business plan. So you should be able to take this, understand it, and hopefully start something with your business plan. Any questions, guys? Let me see if
I don't have any right now.
Okay. And the schedule. The schedule is very important too. Let me see if I can find it. Business plan. Balance. Recipe cost card schedule. Here we go. Okay. A schedule is a big component because that's where you make money. Okay. Raceling, find the grades, Yosi, Mallory. Let's see if I can pull one up real quick. So in the schedule, again, it's all about making sure that you control the cost. Here we go. Okay. So it goes with operating a business, because if you can't control your labor, then So again, this is okay, I got you with this, Sean. So this is a schedule that we created. Okay. Here we go. Let me zoom in. So again, they created their own spreadsheets. Okay. And I've asked them for a check average according to the menu. And I asked him for a daily sales and weekly sales. So here he's got Saturday through Friday, a full schedule. When are they going to be on? When are they going to be off? Okay. Their hours they're working, how much they're paying them on the right hand side, and what's the total. And again, all the formulas are plugged in. So this one takes this is their dollar amount, and right here where it says 800 is multiplying that 40 times 20, and that's 800 all the way down the line. Okay. Down at the bottom here is summing everything up. So it's adding where it says here labor dollars 13,683. It's already adding all this rows right here. Okay, where it says bi-weekly pay, it's adding all this sales, and so he's spending $13,683. His total revenue is looking about 58,000 according to his sales. Okay, he's got it somewhere else. So, anyways, a check average, 3 items, $30 times how many seating capacity, how many turns, how many meal services on a day and a week. So he's looking at about 58,000 on a weekly basis. So his labor is 13,000. So he's taking that 13,683 divided it by 58, and his labor is at 23%. Anywhere in the business, you run at 24% and below, you are taking that piece of the pie home a little bit bigger. Okay, that's about 20% of the profits going into your home. Okay, so 58. Let's do a quick math, guys. So pull out your calculators, your phones, whatever you have. Multiply 58,800 times 4. What do you guys come up with?
I got $235,200.
Okay, so imagine your business on a monthly basis. Your sales is $235,200. That is what you're bringing in. That's how much product you're selling. Now, so out of that, and again, 20% of that is for you take home after you pay your staff, bought the food, paid the lights, the water, the trash, the sewer, the insurance. You paid everything. You're covered. You pay all your bills, just like your home. You pay your cell, your lease, your gas, utilities, all that stuff. Now, your take home out of this is 20%. So multiply that 200,000 times 0.24.
It's $56,448.
That's take home. 56,000. Now
That's
think about
a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money in your pocket, right? You're paying yourself very well, and that's something you pay your employees. So multiply that times 12.
$677,376.
That's how much you take home on a year. A year. That's how much you make a year.
He's making a really good profit.
A really good profit, right? And that's projected. That's projected, forecasted. It all depends on how well, somebody's fulfilling the restaurant. Now think about local restaurants. When you walk into a restaurant, let's see how many people are in front of you, how many people are behind you, how many people are sitting down. Take a look at their tables. What are they eating? Take a look at the menu and figure out how much you're spending on that table. Maybe it's a couple. Maybe they have 2 entrees. Maybe they have a couple of drinks and appetizers. Maybe the check average, they're spending about $50, $60 for 2. And take a look around you. How many people are sitting around? So multiply that 57 times what are people sitting around, and multiply that times maybe how many times they bring in new customers and to sit on that table. That's how you forecast your daily sales. And multiply that times 7. That's how you forecast weekly sales. Okay. multiplied by 4, and that's your weekly sales by month, just like we did right now. At a month, now multiply it times 0.24, 0.20, and that's how much money you're taking home. There's money to be made, but only if you are able to control those costs, only if you're able to control your labor and your food costs, and how well you write that menu, your location, and the food that you prepare, how will you market it, and what kind of services you offer in your restaurant. After everything's been paid, $677,376 may be going to your pocket. Wouldn't you like to have that in your pocket?
I would. I know I would.
Nice paycheck.
Right. So, in this business, and I always say it, day in, day out, you can be the hottest chef in the world. You can be whatever, up in the pedestal, but if you can't produce those numbers, you're going to be broke. You're not going to be making business. You're not going to be able to survive. So it takes a lot of brain power and understanding schedules, standardized recipes, recipe cost cards, how to increase sales, how to market, how to do all that to be able to get to that point.
I have a question.
You go ahead.
When you are also including things like other merchandise, not including food, what do you want the markup to be at that point? Like if I were to sell games or let's say comics or something as well, what would the markup need to be on that?
That markup, you can, I really haven't dealt on that yet. I know it's really cost effective. The markup is about maybe 50-70% up from what it is.
Yeah, because I've been to some places where it's really expensive, but I know tons of people are willing to spend that money.
Supply and demand. Supply and demand. When people want it, and they're going to raise the prices. And they're not price gouging. The markup is the way it is. A T-shirt to make may cost you $1. How much you buying a T-shirt at the store? Maybe Walmart, it's $3 when it goes on sale, in the clearance. But a T-shirt might cost you what, $14, $17 to the store. That's a huge markup because again, they have to pay for the shipping, the ordering, the stocking, the employee, the lines, electricity, all that stuff that goes with it. In here, like you're saying about retail sales in Austin, South Congress, there's a place called Magnolias. Awesome location. I always talk about it. I don't know if you guys ever been to Magnolias or not. I know the one location. Yeah, the one by Town Lake closed down.
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah, and this one is on South Congress. Unfortunately, they were forced to shut down this pandemic. But when they were, they've been there for a long time as well too. They have an awesome concept. They have an outdoor patio inside, and a walk in there is always busy in the restaurant. So they're selling food. The greatest thing is that right across their parking lot, they have a little retail store where they sell like T-shirts, pillows, knickknacks, birthday cards, all kinds of things. And they're not cheap. They're not cheap. They're a little bit pricey. So there's no reason why you can't have, like you said, if you want to have a concept like that, have a desk or a separate section that you can be, or in the same store, sell the products, sell the games, sell the consoles, sell the controllers, whatever you can to make profit. And again, it's about 50-60% because they don't cost money, but they cost money to order them and get them in and store them. So you charge it for the services.
And the market determines value, right? The invisible hand of the market.
Correct.
So it's whatever everyone else thinks your product is worth is where you should price it.
Right. And again, take a look at competitors. And nobody's on me say you walk into a store and you see the magazines and what have you now, the comics being expensive. So you want to start opening up your restaurant. Take a look at the prices and be comparable to them. Don't go too higher and don't go too low. Be somewhat comparable to them so you can draw sales too. Okay?
Yeah, I started looking at this place, Emerald Tavern. They have board games, but there are some things that I've wanted, that I've been there and I've been like, this is really cool, but I would have done it this way, or I might want to include this. But yeah, I've definitely looked into what they do.
Yeah, it's always good to shop around, window shop. Okay?
With the comics and stuff like that, I find that everyone price their stuff is about what they charge online. Like if you go to eBay and find something used, you can get that comic book at your local store for about that price. Maybe your $1 or $2 markup, but it's usually right around the price you can get it online. Because it's like that's the major market for most games and comics and stuff. People always order them. So I know that's what I do.
Just be careful on eBay. They might steal your identity, use your credit card, and buy, have some fraudulent chargers, or the product might come in from China. Most of the time it comes from China. So,
but you have that good feeling inside from helping that Nigerian prince, really helping him out, really kind of like makes you feel good inside, like you're actually helping out society and shit.
So there's a lot to think about, guys. There's some money to be made. Just got to be wise. Got to know how to navigate, how to be a better owner, how to take care of your concept. And again, I'm only telling you guys this because it's going to come around so quick. And the last week, day 2, the last 2 days, day 27 and 28, or the 28 and 29, is when you guys split up and you guys present your project. Okay. So again, recipes take some time. They do take some time. Okay. So anyways, guys, just gonna give you a heads up. Be on the lookout for that. And if I was you, I would start working on the menu right away and start thinking about the concept. Go in and create a logo. Go to canva.com, go to Post on My Wall, whatever website you want to create your menu on it, and start putting it down on paper, start typing it in, and start revising it. Make it, set it aside, go back and look at it again, tweak it or readjust it, and go back and then start working on your recipe cost cards. That's the major bulk of your project. Got it?
Yeah. Got it.
Those numbers look good, huh?
Good.
Again, it's all about numbers. Okay. All right, let's get into today's topic if we can. Let me see if we can go here. Okay. So let's start with today. Okay. We're going to be talking about delegation. Delegate. So with delegation, going from hourly to a managing position, it's always a transition. And sometimes it's a smooth sailing, sometimes it is not. I remember my first time going from an hourly to a sous chef, I had a kind of hard time delegating. Okay. It was a learning curve for me to delegate to the cooks what needed to be done. Alongside through the years, you learn the skills, you learn how to delegate the right and proper way. Okay, there's one thing to delegate and one thing to be told what to do. Okay, or be talked to. It's the difference between both of them. So delegation. Okay, delegation is decision making. Decision making is this process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative solutions. Using a step-by-step decision-making process can help you make more deliberate, thoughtful decisions by organizing relevant information and defining alternatives. This approach increases the chances that you will choose the most satisfying alternative possible. So delegating, you're in your groups of 4 in class, right? Hopefully you guys can communicate with each other, figure out the day beforehand what you're going to make in the kitchen. When you go in, the chef gives you a lecture. And somebody's going to stand out and start delegating the duties assigned from the menu. I'm Mr. Sean. Maybe somebody's going to take the lead and start saying, okay, I do this, you do this, you do that, and you guys agree upon it and then start working on the recipe. Again, if somebody steps up. Okay. So 7 steps of decision making for success. Identify the problem. Gather relevant information. Identify alternative solutions. Assess the evidence. Choose some alternatives, take action, and review the decision. Okay. So step 1, identify the decision. You realize that you need to make a decision. Try to clearly define the nature of the decision you must make. The first step is very important. Define. Okay, define. 2, gather relevant information. Collect some pertinent information before you make your decision. What information is needed? The best sources of information, and how to get it. This step involves both internal and external work. Some information is internal, so you'll seek through a process of self-assessment. Other information is external. You'll find it more online in books from other places, people, and other sources. Number 3, it's too big. Number 3, there we go. Identify the alternatives, okay? So with identify alternatives, as you collect information, you probably identify several possible paths of action or alternatives. You can also use your imagination and additional information to construct new alternatives. In this step, you will list all possible and desirable alternatives. Consider all your options before you commit to any one of them. You should make a checklist to compare solutions. Points on the checklist might include: how will this solve the problem? Will it also stop similar problems from occurring in the future? How much will it cost? How does this affect one of the other departments? Does it fit in the company philosophy? Is it legal or is it ethical? Okay. There you go. Is it ethical? Okay. 4, weighing the evidence. Okay. Draw your information and emotions to imagine what it would be like if you carried out each of the alternatives to the end. Evaluate whether you need to identify step 1. Would it be met or resolved through the use of each alternative? As you go through the through this difficult internal process, you'll begin to favor certain alternatives. Those that seem to have higher potential for reaching the goal. Finally, place alternatives in a priority order based upon your own value system. Okay. Step 5, choose among alternatives. Once you have weighed all the evidence, you're ready to select alternatives that seem to best want for you. You may choose a combination of alternatives. Your choice in step 5 may be very likely to be the same or similar to the alternatives you place at the top of your list at the end of step 4. Okay. Number 6, take action. Now you're ready to take some positive action by beginning to implement the alternatives you choose on step 5. 7, review your decision and its consequences. Always, okay? Always review your decision and consequences. In this final step, consider the results of your decision and evaluate whether or not it has resolved the need you identified in step 1. If the decision has not met the identified need, you may want to repeat certain steps of the process to make a new decision. For example, you might want to gather more detailed or detailed or somewhat different information to explore the additional alternatives. So what to do once the decision has been made? It's not like, let's go get it, let's get it done, right? Once you make a decision, you should act on it. First, you should figure out who this decision affects and inform them. Generally, employees are okay with changes. Even major changes that dramatically impact their work, as long as they're told about them ahead of time. Okay, communication is key. Then implement the decision and oversee this implementation to assure that it's implemented properly. Watch for oversights and unexpected snags. If you're wrong, admit that you're wrong and take steps to reserve your decision. If you're right, stand by your decision. So on this one, okay, communication. And I used to do this quite a lot in the kitchens. You know, I would go in, I would take a look at the reservation book, see who's coming in, what time slots that we're bringing in. And I would go to my kitchen staff and have a little pre-shift meeting with or huddles, as they call them now. And I will tell them, you know, I will ask them, where are you guys at? How are you doing on the grill? Do you have enough steaks cut? What about sauté? Do you have enough shrimp, garlic, mise en place, parsley, white wine, butter? What about pantry? Do you have enough salads? Is your salad fresh? You have enough cheesecake for dessert? What about the calamari? Is we have enough to be a bread on the fly? And, you know, we'll tell them, okay, we got X amount of reservations. We'll probably, you know, I will ballpark estimate X amount of customers that night. And I will tell them, okay, you need to do this, this and that to get ready. And sauté needs to go ahead and start doing this before this time is done. And the pantry, so forth and so on. So start delegating duties while you foresee what kind of business is going to come in and how it's going to affect you. Now, sometimes it went very well. We got our butts kicked, but the team, you know, pulled together. We were very successful. Sales were great, no complaints. And other times it was not so great. Maybe it was dead. It was really slow, no business. So we ended up with all this product that we have pre-prepped along the way. So, you know, so again, take a look at how does that going to impact the decision that you're making? Okay, we're not always going to be right. Okay, we'll watch it later. So delegation, what happened to the project? I delegated it to you. I delegated it. You seen those, right? In the workplace. You see them a lot of time. You ask somebody, hey, can you do me a favor, take care of this? And then you go back, it's like, okay, have you got it done? Yeah, I asked him so-and-so to get it done. I'm like, really? Even in class, even in the kitchens, in our classrooms, you know, I would ask you know, somebody, hey, go ahead and start. If they had nothing to do, nothing else to do, say, hey, where are you working on right now? Well, I'm finished this project so far. So okay, do me a favor, let's take this stock down. and either get distracted, walk away from that person, or will come back and we're asking, is he getting the stock down, the chicken stock out of the stovetop? Yeah, I asked, so and so to get it done. So it happens. Once you delegate, it might delegate to someone else. Okay. Deciding when to delegate. It's impossible for a manager to make all the decisions they could make, especially if they want to devote the time to applying the full decision-making process to each decision. According to an apocryphal story, Napoleon will wait for 2 weeks before opening his mail. That's not a good sign. By then, the small problems will have been resolved, and then he can focus on the attention of the larger ones. Well, this is impractical for almost any management situation. It carries an important lesson with it. There are problems that are worth devoting your full attention to, and problems that are better to delegate and trust to be handled for them, right? So what would happen if you get, once you get your mail, your bills in the mail, you're going to put them aside and hopefully they'll take care of their own selves? Right? No.
Yeah, totally.
Right? They're going to get paid. Open those bills, get it paid. Don't wait. Because if you do, then you're going to get your services cut off. Okay? So downside of delegating, things might not be done right or the way you wanted them. Can slow things down. You have given up control, but are still responsible for the outcome. Your own time and efforts might not be recognized, left out of the fun. You might have enjoyed it more than other things you have to do. The upside of delegating builds team strength. Your team is not depending on you, increases team commitment, new ideas and possibilities of better solutions. Team members have an opportunity to stretch and grow. You're not the only one staying awake at night thinking of the solutions. So when you delegate, your team becomes stronger. Okay. So what if you have a banquet of 100 people? You got 7 cooks. Okay. How are you going to delegate the duties? Who's going to do what?
I guess their skill level.
There you go, the skill level. Who's strong as what, right? Maybe somebody's strong as meat fabrication. Okay, you go ahead and fabricate 100 tenderloins. Maybe somebody is stronger at knife skills. Okay, you take care of all the vegetables, and maybe you take care of the sauces and so forth, so on, right? You start delegating according to the key players in that kitchen. Okay, and build strength because now you're going to have that banquet event prepared on time, and you can execute it with flawlessly. Okay. This was fun of it. Remember Dogbert, the CEO? Yeah. He said, "We'll execute our strategy in the usual way. The powerful will delegate to the untalented until failure is achieved." Holland without tape. We just finished.
That's pretty good.
Get it?
I guess that guy's the delegate.
Right.
And the other guy's the untalented. It's pretty good.
Right. Making decisions, managerial problem solving. Much of a manager's time is spent on the decision-making process up to 75% of the time. According to some sources, for something so important, it is essential to have a process for making decisions as effectively as possible. Process. 7 strategies for delegating better and getting more done. Being a good leader involves delegating tasks to employees. This can be difficult to do for many people, but there are tricks that can make it easier and more effective. One trick in the kitchen is production sheets. Production sheets. If you are that executive chef with a banquet of 100, you're going to make sure that you create production sheets or prep lists. You're going to put it up on the clipboard up in the kitchen, and you're going to start gathering your huddles, and you're going to tell them, okay, that we got this event to be done. You go ahead and do the steaks, you go ahead and do the vegetables, and so forth. Start delegating and then walk away and let them go. Come back and follow through, ask them where they're at, and see how they're doing. Okay. Whether you're a team leader, an entrepreneur, or in some similar position of authority, delegation is going to be a major key to maximizing your productivity and keeping yourself sane. During tight deadlines or large workloads, the problem is many entrepreneurs and leaders don't know how to delegate effectively or aren't willing to do it unless they absolutely have to. And again, maybe those are the laissez-faire or the autocratic or the democratic. They don't know how to delegate. Okay. Delegating tasks is a skill that, like any skill, can be learned and improved on over time. Put these 7 delegation strategies into practice, and watch as your organization efficiency increases. It's all about increasing. 1, learn to let go. Okay. The biggest problem is most new bosses and leaders face is the inability to let go of their own work. Sometimes they feel so dedicated to completing their own work and that they refuse to let other people help. Other times they feel that nobody else has the skills or abilities necessary to execute the work effectively. Whatever the case may be, your first priority needs to be learned to let go. Start small, delegating only to the smallest task, and gradually work your way up. Get to know your team better and improve your trust among your coworkers. Take baby steps and know that eventually you will have to let go of your work if you want to your team to be successful. So, what do you guys think about that thought?
Like about micromanaging, basically. Don't try to get a bunch of people to do a bunch of work. Hold on, man. I'm not halfway asleep here. Hold on.
No. Go ahead.
No, you're good, Kelly. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I understand what you're saying, but I'm in a situation where you guys know I'm literally starting my business and I'm a team of me. So for me, sometimes I have volunteers or people that will come help, but there's still certain things that it's hard for me to delegate. I'm trying to find tasks and not do things that I can when I do have the help. But can you explain like what a person when they're by themselves or they're just getting started and it's like 1 or 2 people, like how do you do that? Because I am literally overwhelmed. I really could use some advice in that area.
So learn to let go. Okay, you say you have volunteers, right? So volunteers, what are their skills? What can they do in this case? What can they do for you? How can they work? Can they, again, you have cookies. Do they understand the technique and skills, how to make a cookie batter, the different types? If they do, can you give them a easy to read standardized recipe to make cookie batters? I'm just giving you an example, okay? If so, can they follow instructions? Okay. Maybe work with them side by side. Hey, let me show you how to make this cookie batter. Let me show you how to follow this recipe. So next time you have to make the same batch, here's the recipe. Remember how we made it? Can you go ahead and make it? But still watch him. You can kind of still watch him. Don't be completely on offset, because even though you might show them the first time, some of us, are only able to retain certain percentage in our brain of what was taught, what was learned. Okay. So watch him and guide him along the way. So learn to let go. Slowly weed yourself out of that situation. Now, once you get your business up and running and you do hire somebody that's going to help you at least prep, the same concept applies. Start training them from scratch on how to make the basic items so you can get away from that and focus on the main parts, and slowly build from that part too. Because if you don't, you're going to have people volunteer for you, but you're going to be so overly not paranoid, overly protective of your baby, your project, your product, right? That you want to make sure it's done perfectly, right?
Right.
So, and I get it. You want to make sure that it's done, and you want to be there 24/7, but you can't because you got other responsibilities to deal with. So slowly start giving them the basic bottom of the barrel jobs to do, so you can go to the bigger picture. Once they build enough stamina, enough skills, enough consistency, give them another project on top of that. Hey, let us work on this one now. I know you can do this one, but what about this one? Let me show you how to make this one. And again, start training them how to do certain things so you can start handling the bigger projects. It takes time, and volunteering is something else different because sometimes volunteers, they're not dependable. Sometimes they're there.
Oh my gosh. And I will think that I have a game plan and then somebody can't make it, or, something happened and then I'm thrown into it. And then I'm working with people with actual challenges like traumatic brain injuries and stuff like that. So when I spoke about being a compassionate kitchen, that's kind of what I was talking about, making space for anybody who's passionate about this industry, but just might have some little quirks or kinks, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm finding this is really time consuming, and my business isn't going to make much money right now without like either donations or something, because it is so time consuming training them. Like my production, if I do it by myself, I know what I can get done. When I'm working with 2 people, it's like we're twice as slow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because now you got to step back and help them do their task and then do yours and then some.
Yeah, like it is becoming 24/7, like eat, sleep, breathe, just wake up and do this, because I have to be prepared for them and then be prepared if they don't come or if they don't do it right. Like I'm buying extra ingredients. It's a huge investment delegating.
It is, and it's not something you're going to learn overnight. It takes time to learn how to delegate. And in your case, you know, working with individuals that had traumatic brain injuries, you have to be extra patient, and you have to really step back from the normal people that I can actually handle an easy task to do, because you're going to have to slow yourself way down. Okay, I'm not saying, you know, ABC, but you got to have to put yourself in the shoes and think about their way of more thinking, how to best navigate and how to make it more successful and understand what you're trying to make them do. So a lot of patience goes with that part. And again, just the basic items to do. And sometimes, you know, not everybody's different. So you have to constantly be on the training, constant training, every day in, day out, to make sure that the profit is done every single time, consistently. It takes time.
It's so hard.
It is.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to turn my camera on.
It's all right. It's okay. It's hard. You know, delegating is a skill that not everybody gets. And when you're in this situation, it's going to take a little bit more patience to fight and deal with. But again, volunteers is hard. It is hard. Again, they're not dependable. Some of them are, you know, great that they want to volunteer. It's excellent they want to come in and help you guys out. But in bottom line, they're not getting paid, so they're not going to be there dependable day in, day out. And some of them, they say, oh, I'll volunteer. And you might get an individual that wants to volunteer, and they show up and they're not, you know, they're on their phone, they're missing, they're in the bathroom.
No, that's not the case. I'm actually doing someone, a fellow student, a favor with their externship by letting them come and work with me. And this person was having a hard time because of some of their challenges. And I told Ann, I'll take them. But yeah, I'm going to help this person out.
That's great.
So I don't want to let them down, but at the same time, like, this is really hard. And my son also has a traumatic brain injury, and he needs a job. Like, he has to work. So like, I have 2 people in my kitchen right now that are trying their best, but their best is not my best. And it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, I noticed a huge decrease in sales and quality and everything these past couple of weeks, you know, but at the same time, this person is so happy. You know, she's telling me, like, this is the part of her day that she looks forward to the most, is being with me. And it's like, it's so hard because I do not want to hurt her feelings.
And that's great. You know, more, you know, again, more respect to you, and you know, for taking on this individual that, you know, that this is the highlight of the day. They want to be with you. They want to help you out. You know, and they're happy. It's just that the fact that it's like, your business is so rapid fire that you got to produce. Your demand is high, and you can't stop. You can't wait. The train is going 100 miles an hour. You can't slow down. But in this, you're in a tight spot that you're gonna have to slow down to train this individual. And again, if you haven't done, if you do it by yourself, you know what you're capable of. You can multitask. You can do the same. You can have goals set up. You can do you know, fast. You can run circles around certain individuals because it's your concept, your menu, your recipe. So you know exactly what is expected. And even so, there might be a mistake here and there, but it's going to be very, very minimal and dismal. So delegating, it's once you get more people under you, it's going to be a little bit challenging to delegate at the beginning. But once you start getting it, it's going to be a little bit less stressful to you. Just
guys, I was just saying, like, this is real life for me. I know we're studying this in class, but if anybody is thinking about working for themselves or working with someone else, this is all stuff you really need to consider, because this is my life now, and I am trying to have it all, and it is not easy.
It's hard. A lot of sacrifice of blood, sweat, and tears that go into owning your own business, own a restaurant. a lot, and it's a lot of hard work that goes with it. And if you don't have that passion, you might not be able to succeed and be successful. Even if you own your own business, you as a manager, as a chef, pastry chef, food and beverage supervisor, wherever you may go in life, this is a big part of it, and it's an ongoing process. It never stops. How to delegate, how to let go, and how to build that successful team. You're in the beginning stages of your business, and it's going to take a little bit of time to go ahead and start, filling in. Once you do so, you're going to be sitting on the top of your empire. And, I go back and I'll give you guys an example. Have you guys ever heard of the soup peddler?
Yeah.
You know his story?
No.
Soup peddler back in 2002, back a while ago. Unemployed individual, no money, no job, barely living. Had a bicycle with the thing in the back, the tri-wheel. He knew how to make soups, and his friends loved his soups. So they started asking him, "Can you make some soups and drop it off our work site during lunchtime?" Because they were hungry. So he started making soups for them. So he makes several soups. He dropped them off the work site, and their friends, got a taste of the soups, and they started liking the soup that he made. So they started requesting, "Hey, can you make us more soup, and we'll pay you some money?" Okay, we'll pay you some money. Unemployed, no money, a bike, peddling soup downtown. Around Austin, and that's how his business got started. That back in 2002. Now he's got about 3 locations. Okay, about 3 or 4 locations. And last time about 6 months ago, I was looking at Indeed, and he was hiring for an executive chef at one of his locations.
Wow.
So I use him as an example of what can be done through perseverance, dedication, passion, discipline, and the hard work, blood, and tears that goes with it. Unemployed, not having any money, no income. Now he's, now he's making salads, sandwiches, beverages. He's even delivering doorsteps. He's got DoorDash and so forth, so on. So he grew from nothing into something that, he's got several locations and commissaries. Now he's delivering doorstep. So it can be done. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Sometimes we get desperate. Sometimes we look at like, how are we going to do this? You just got to stick to your guns, put your head to the grinding stone, and keep on going. Don't stop. And you will get a piece of the pie. If not, the damn whole pie. That's what we're shooting for, right? We don't want a piece of the pie. We want the whole damn pie.
Yeah, I want it all.
Yeah.
I want it all.
I even go back to, sorry, I'm not trying to get a rabbit hole. Go back and talk about Robert Tiara. You know the history? You know who he is?
No, I don't know that person.
Yeah, I don't know who Robert Tiara is.
Robert Tiara, the founder and maker of Hawaiian, King Hawaiian rolls. You know King Hawaiian rolls?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Top of his baking class. Culinary student, baking class in Hawaii. Okay. And I forget the numbers, but he's in the millions of dollars now. Back in like 80 or 90, he was, I was thinking, I always talk about him during my regional class when we go into Hawaii and we have those King Hawaiian rolls on the menu. Top of his baking class, millions of dollars. And what is King Hawaiian rolls? Pineapple juice, sugar, yeast, water, and flour, pretty much, right? And is making millions of dollars. It can be done. Just gotta have perseverance. You gotta keep being disciplined. You gotta stick to your guns. You head to the grinding stone, and don't stop. It will come. It will come. Just don't give up.
Look, nothing about me says quit. Like I'm not built that way. I will die trying for this. It's not that. It's just that, like I have been trained for this. I've gone through the pastry program. I know what it takes. I've worked in restaurants. And it's so hard I feel like I hit a brick wall with these individuals because I was really hoping to find someone as, like capable. Mm-hmm. And then meeting them and realizing like, oh my gosh, like I need them, but they need me too. And if I do everything I have to do while they're there, like I'm going too fast. for them, and they're going too slow for me. And it's like, okay, so it stretches the day out. I didn't factor in, you know, sleeping, getting this done, like whatever. I'm used to being like a one-person show or whatever. And this just kind of took me off guard. I'm going to master this. I'm going to get it down. It's just kind of caught me off guard that this is what it would actually look and feel like.
It is. I'm not saying you're gonna quit and do this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're gonna succeed and overcome this obstacle, this bump in the road, and you know, they're gonna be successful. Sometimes, you know, if this individual doesn't work out, then maybe switch him and start delegating some other duties, a little bit different duties that they can handle. Okay.
I was going to say something similar, like if they are better at the prep work and you're better at, you know, getting things together and popping in the oven and moving real quick, then it's better to see what their skills are, what they're going to do better at, and then get them to do some of their simpler tasks so that you can move fast on what you know you're good at and what you can produce.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're focusing on this week, and like the past, you know, day or two, last night even, I kind of, you know, trying to switch it up, setting things up for them. Like I said, me stop doing tasks that they can do. Like I label my cookies and stuff. I'll show you guys. Like I have these bags, and my cookies, they have labels, and I just make sure everything's all, you know, nice. I'm sorry, you're looking at me. You see, and you know, like each cookie is wrapped, and I have boxes and all that kind of stuff, making sure that all that stuff gets done. So I used to handle all that, but I think I'm going to actually start delegating.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
As far as like, and then more things. Trying to simplify things for us and get streamlined. It just kind of caught me off guard, and we're talking about this today, and it kind of struck a nerve. That's all. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. It's about delegating, you know, and it's true because in the industry, you know, if I hired somebody with no skills, I used to start them on the pantry, start delegating and start them easy in the easy tasks they can do, and then assess their skills and start moving them up the long way, you know, from the pantry to the fry, saute to the grill. Even dishwashers, you know, again, start delegating, you know, certain duties. Maybe take the dishwasher, have them do some prep, and see, try to assess how their knife skills are, and build from that, and then move it to the next project. So sometimes you got to slow down and backtrack and start having them do simple tasks that they can handle, and from there maybe start building them. So it's not, again, it's delegating to figure out what, trying to assess their skills and trying to move them up and try to increase the productivity as you go. It's going to take some time, but it can be done. So delegating, big one. Oops, delegating. Where we at? Here we go, delegating. We'll watch that in a minute. So second, establish a firm priority system. As far as letting go process, start developing the priority system for tasks. Of course, this system will vary on the basis of your expertise, your industry, and your types of tasks you usually handle, but create at least 4 categories according to the degree of effort a task requires and the degree of skill. The highest skill category should contain tasks that you keep on your plate, while those in the lower skill categories can be assigned to others. The degree of effort should tell you which tasks are more important to delegate. For example, giving someone else responsibility for a high effort, low skill task will save you some lost time, lots of times. Establishing a firm priority system will help you understand the nature of your task and delegate efficiently. Again, it goes back to, you know, figure out where they stand and how to best fit them into the criteria or the jobs at hand, so you can start, you know, winning yourself out a little bit. Play to your workers' strengths. As a leader, you'll have to learn to subtleties of your teammates. You should know each individual's strengths and weaknesses, including his or her current and potential range of skills. When delegating, take a look at your team and assign tasks to whoever has the greatest number of relevant skills for that task. It seems like an obvious choice, but too many leaders delegate to whoever has the lightest workload or is the most convenient. It also important to be consistent. For example, delegating the same type of task to the same individual will eventually increase that individual's aptitude for those tasks. You got to find out who's the strongest in your team and start delegating accordingly. Always, always include instructions. Even if you have to type and write them down, laminate them, whatever you do. Even if the task process seems obvious to you, make sure you include instructions with each task you delegate. If you have a specific preference on how to for the assignments, you will be carried out. Include that information. If you have a strict deadline for milestones you need to hit, be clear about them. Include detailed and straightforward instructions from the get-go to avoid most communication gaps and will allow your task to be executed effectively. It is a proactive strategy that both of you and your employees will appreciate. So always, if you can't have it in writing, as you go step by step, okay? 5, don't be afraid to teach new skills. Sorry guys, I got my security guy back here. So don't be afraid to teach new skills. Lacking someone in your team with the ability to execute a certain task on your to-do list doesn't mean that work can be delegated. Most skills can be learned, some more easily than others, so don't be afraid to teach as part of the delegation process. So the assignment of your first week's task, the assignment of your first few tasks will take more time, and it will save you since you'll need to train your chosen employees. Consider an investment. By transferring those skills, you'll be opening the door to assigning all similar tasks to an individual in the future, ultimately saving more time than you can spend teaching. Okay? Trust, but verify. Once the task is delegated, trust your teammate to execute it on his or her terms. This will allow the person to tackle the work the way he or she feels is best. However, don't be afraid to occasionally step up and verify that the task is moving along as planned. For example, if you make an assignment a week ago that's due tomorrow, trust the employee is on top of things, but send a quick verification email to make sure the person has seen any snags. Doing so encourages more trust and respect with your team and helps prevent breaks in communication and understanding. So even though you trust them, you got to go back and double check, hey, where you at with this? How are we coming along with this, this project, okay? Use feedback loops to improve delegation moving forward. Feedback is the most important part of the delegation process, and it works both ways. If your workers have done well with the tasks you assigned, let them know by publicly thanking them and offering genuine praise. If they fall short, don't be afraid to give them some constructive criticism. Constructive criticism, don't come down on them, don't drop the axe. Just, hey, by the way, a nice job. I know you have done this, but it can be improved by doing so, okay? By doing this way, or maybe having a different way of accomplishing this skill. On the other hand, invite your coworkers to share their thoughts on how you're delegating. It's a critical chance for you to determine whether you're providing enough information or whether you're assigning the right tasks. And I always go back, do you have any questions for me? Or, when I delegate a task, do we understand? Is it making clear? Or if you have any doubts or questions, just let me know, okay? Always be open. Delegating us isn't always easy, and the process isn't always clear. But the sooner you start, the sooner you'll develop those expertise to do it effectively. Realize that the process will never be perfect, but learn from your experiences and make ongoing adjustments for improvement. Always evolving on delegating, always. So what is delegating? How is it different than work directing? Delegating is a critical skill for supervisors at any level. Delegating involves working with an employee to establish goals, training them with sufficient authority and responsibility to achieve the goals, often giving them 1, substantial freedom in deciding how the goals will be achieved. 2, remaining available as a resource to help them achieve the goals. 3, assessing the quality of the work, the effort in attaining of the goals. 4, and addressing performance issues or rewarding the performance. Ultimately, the supervisor retains responsibility for the attainment of the goals, but chooses to achieve the goals by delegating to someone else. Okay. Delegating is different than work directing. Work directing is telling someone what to do and how to do it. Usually much less freedom as to how the employee does the task. And many times is much less ownership, participation, and learning on the part of the employee as well. Okay. So how to delegate? Responsible and accountable, clear outcomes, tools, and authority. Feedback, milestone and dates, good match, and excited. Okay, oh, it's too big. this out of here. Come on. There you go. Okay. So delegation can sometimes be a major challenge for new supervisors to learn because they're concerned about giving up control or struggling to have confidence in the abilities of others. Supervisors that can effectively delegate can free up a great deal of time on their own time, help to direct the efforts to cultivate expertise in the learning, and can develop their own leadership skills that are critical for problem solving, goal attainment, and learning. So how to delegate for growth and performance of your employees. Thomas Horton in Delegation and Team Building. No solo acts, please. Management review, September 1992. Again, he says, suggest the following general steps to accomplish delegation. 1, delegate the whole task to one person. This gives a person complete responsibility for doing the task and increases the person's motivation to do the task as well. It also provides more focus on the supervisor when working with a person to understand that the desired results should look like. Okay. 2, select the right person to delegate to. Assess the skills and capabilities of the person to be sure that the individual can actually accomplish the task. Does he or she have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to do the task? If not, the person might need training, or perhaps the task should be delegated to someone else. Assess for success. 3, clearly specify your preferred results. Provide information on what the results should look like, why those results are desired, when the results should be accomplished, who else might help the person, and what resources the person has to work with. You might leave the how to accomplish the task to be decided by the person, and it's something best to write this information down. 4, delegate responsibilities and authorities assigned to the task, not the method of accomplishing. So let the person complete the task in a manner that is he or she chooses, as long as the desired results are likely to be what the supervisor specifies. Let the person have strong input as to the completion of the data project. Know that you may not even know how to complete the task yourself. This is often the case with higher levels of management. Make sure that others in the organization understand that this person has both the responsibility and the authority to complete the task. 5, ask the person to summarize back to you a description of the results you prefer. Explain that you are requesting the summary to be sure you effectively describe the results of the person, not necessarily to be sure that the person heard you. That explanation helps the person not to feel he or she is somehow being treated as if he or she is untrustworthy. So in this case, when I have a delegation task to do so, we'll bring him in. Hey, we got to take care of this. Here's what I need you to do me a favor for. Maybe fabricate 100 beef tenderloins, and again, once I'm done, then I go back and ask him, do we have any questions, or do you have any thoughts about it, or ask to repeat that delegation to me back, see if they understand it. Because again, all of us don't retain that information 100%. So always ask, Let me go back, it's too big. Okay. 6, get ongoing, non-intrusive feedback about the progress on your project. This is a good reason to continue to get weekly written status reports from the person. Reports should describe what he or she did last week, plans to do next week, and any potential issues that might arise. Regular meetings with the person provide feedback as well too. Okay, that's why we have meetings in the workplace, to provide feedback. 7, maintain open lines of communication. Do not hover over the person to monitor his or her performance, but do sense that he or she is doing and support the person checking in with you while doing the task. And we do that all the time in the kitchens. We're watching, we're very observant all the time. All watching our 6. 8, if you're not satisfied with the progress, do not do the task yourself. And sometimes that is hard to do. Continue to work with the person to ensure that he or she perceives the task as his or her responsibility. Look for the cause of dissatisfaction. For example, is a lack of communication, training, resource, or commitment of that person. 9, evaluate and reward the person's performance. Evaluate achievement of desired results more than the methods used by the person. Address insufficient performance and reward success. Effective problem solving, decision making. So before we get into this one, I'm gonna have you guys watch this video here in a minute. Pull it about delegation. Okay. It is called The Art of Delegation. Okay. It's a short 2-minute video. Okay. I'm going to copy the link and put it in the chat box. There's a link, and this is what it looks like. Okay. So go check it out. What do you guys think?
It was good, informative.
Art of delegation. It's not easy and it takes time. Anyone else?
That's a good video. So did she just like take him into the office and have a conversation about delegation with him?
Correct.
What the end result was? I thought there was going to be more like, I thought they're going to go in the office and she's going to discuss delegation.
No, it's about how to delegate better so you don't take all the tasks yourself because, you know, again, that's why you have people to delegate to, okay?
Right.
Here's another example of delegating. This is more relevant to the kitchen, okay? I don't know if you guys seen this one, but take a look at this one real quick. And let me put the link on the chat, okay?
Oh, I love these shows. It's like, dude tries to cook food. It's so funny.
Here we go, okay? This one's in 9 minutes.
All right.
Watch it. Let me know about delegating. What could be done better? Or how to delegate better. Even Gordon Ramsay, right? Dude, relax.
The video's hilarious.
Delegating, what you think?
Yeah.
His looked so much like a salad.
So, what's his name? I forget the guy's name.
Shane?
Gordon Ramsay or Shane?
Shane, right, Shane. So Shane has little or no skills in the kitchen, right? So his delegating from Gordon Ramsay, he should have been a little bit more slow, should we say? I know that we're pressed for time, but it could have been done a little bit different. And even at the beginning, did you guys catch anything on the beginning as he's delegating how to handle the crab?
Oh yeah. Like flat side down, and he put the base down.
Right.
And just pulled the legs off.
Uh-huh. So right at the top, and on his instructions, how to delegate, how to use put the flat side down on the crab, Gordon Ramsay, told him the wrong thing. So he delegated him wrong on that top. And it would, along the way, it's a lot. It's a fun video to watch, and it's really cool. But with delegating certain job tasks, it could have been handled a little bit better, and Shane could have been done a little bit better job with his dish at the end.
And I think that there's also, he needs to understand that not everyone knows certain cooking terms, like searing or dicing or julienne. Not everyone knows that. For example, I tried to ask my boyfriend to dice peppers, and he just chopped them up like that. So it's, you have to kind of show them first, because not everyone knows. Like, they might see it and like recognize it, but they won't put the picture to the word right away.
Correct. Even us in the kitchen, we make that. I caught myself doing that as well too, because when I teach certain classes, when I go to Foundation 101, I've taught from the table, regionals, 201, and so forth, so on. So when I go back to teach 101, I have to readjust my mindset of how to teach knife skills from the get-go, how to teach from the beginning, because I can't treat students from 101 the same way I treat students from regionals or from the table. Regionals from the table, seniors, they're more well advanced. They have gone through the knife skills. They have gone through all those techniques. And so my mindset, I have to slow myself down. How do I carry my class? How do I speak to my class? And the instructions that go in each different technique, and even how do I do my demos? So in this case, again, with delegating, Gordon Ramsay was going too fast, and he's using the kitchen lingo that, like you said, Shane was not aware of and didn't know what he was talking about. Because even when he was saying, do you know the metric system? Shane was like, what, right? What is this? What is that? So yeah, it's that part. So the crab cakes, go ahead.
For the metric system, I don't think it was necessarily him using kitchen jargon, because he's British and that's what they use. That's where the mix-up was.
Correct. If he would have said, and again, when he's handling the peppers, he said, top and tail off. What does that mean, right? So you have to assess, Shane didn't know anything about top and tail. So you take the bell pepper, you cut off the top where the stem is coming out, and you cut off the bottom. So you have this cylindrical barrel looking pepper, and then you proceed from that cut there. And when he's talking about dicing, again, didn't know the kitchen lingo or the metric system. So cut into very small cubes. It could have been worded a little bit different. Even when he said drop an egg, well, Shane dropped an egg in the bowl, right? That's what he said, right? Said drop the egg in the bowl. Okay, he just went and dropped it. No, break the egg. Maybe mix it a little side bowl with a fork, and then go ahead and mix it into your crab meat. So delegation, certain tasks. Not everybody's the same. You have to adjust your mindset to the individual, he or she, where they stand. And again, we need to slow down sometimes. We cannot go fast paced because everybody's not on the same wavelength as we are. Everybody's different. Okay. And again, not because in the kitchen you expect everybody to know what they know, or then they can expect you to know what they know. We're not mind readers. So again, delegating it's a different. It's a learning task. Every day, something new, something different. Yeah, so that was a fun one to watch. Even when he was making the salad presentation, he was making. What did Gordon say about the salad? How to make it?
Like a rose.
Right.
Shape it like a rose or something. The guy's like, a rose?
Yeah. What does that mean? Right. And then we're putting the sauce on the plate again. So again, delegation, assess the skill levels of your staff, find out where they're at, because now we're not always the same, and then start, giving them clear instructions on the basis that they can understand or relate to, and then maybe show them a demo or two what is expected, and go the step by step. Okay, like a rose. Okay, well, can you grab the leaves, the nice looking leaves, and then stack them together, fold them, and then put them on the plate, and then go ahead and put your crab cakes on top, and then grab that sauce with a spoon and put a dollop on that sauce on a spoon, and just run your spoon to make a teardrop design. So again, is the way we speak, the way we communicate on a clearly basis. Again, we just need to slow down, slow down. So it's a good one to watch. It's fun. Okay. I was show that one when we make crab cakes in regional cuisine. Okay. So next up, problem solving and decision making. Types of decision makers. Problem solving and decision making belong together. You cannot solve a problem with making a decision. There are two main types of decision makers. Some people use systematic, rational approach. Others use intuitive. They go with their emotions or gut feeling about the right approach. They may have a highly creative ways to address the problem, but cannot explain why they have chosen this approach. Always got to be the problem solver. Okay. 6 problem-solving steps. The most effective method uses both rational and intuitive or creative approaches. There are 6 steps in the process. Identify the problem, search for alternatives, weigh the alternatives, make a choice, implement the choice, evaluate the results, and if necessary, start the process again. Oops. So identify the problem. To solve a problem, you must first determine what the problem is. Actually is, you may think you know, but you need to check it out. Sometimes it's easy to focus on symptoms, not causes. You use a rational approach to determine what the problem is. The questions you might ask include, okay, what have I or others observed? What is or others doing at the time of the problem occurred? Is this problem in itself a symptom of a deeper underlying problem? What information do I need? What we have already tried to address this problem, okay? For example, the apprentice you supervise comes to you saying that the electric warming oven is not working properly. Before you call a repair technician, you might want to ask a few questions. You may want to find out why, what the apprentice means by not working properly. Does he or she know how to operate the equipment? Does he or she check the equipment was plugged in? Was a fuse or circuit breaker checked? When did the last work? Okay. You may be able to avoid an expensive service call. At the very last, you will be able to provide valuable information to the repair technician that aids in the troubleshooting process. Well, of course, many of the problems that you will face in the kitchen are much more complex than a malfunctioning oven. You may have to deal with the problems such as discrepancies between actual and expected food costs, labor costs that have to be reduced, lack of budget to complete needed renovations of the kitchen, disputes between staff. However, the basic problem-solving process remains the same, even if the problem identified differ. In fact, the more complex the problem is, the more important it is to be methodical in your problem-solving approach. So search for alternatives. It may seem obvious that you have to do to address a problem. Occasionally this is true, but most times it is important to identify possible alternatives. This is where the creative side of problem solving really comes in. Brainstorming with a group can be an excellent tool for identifying the potential alternatives. Think of as many possibilities or possibles. Write down these ideas, even if you seem somewhat zany or upbeat for this first impression. Sometimes really silly ideas can contain the germ of the superbug solution. Too often people may move quickly into making a choice without really considering all the options. Spending more time searching for alternatives and weighing the consequences really pay off. Weigh the alternatives. Once a number of ideas have been generated, you need to assess each of them to see how effective they might be in addressing the problem. Consider the following factors: impact on the organization, effect on public relations, impact on employees and organization climate, cost, legality, ethic, fact, and actions. Whether this course is permitted under collective agreements, whether the idea can be built or into another idea. Make a choice. Okay, make a choice. Some individuals and groups were making decisions. Not making decision in itself is a decision, right? Not making a decision in itself is a decision. You chose not to make a decision. By pointing a decision, you may eliminate a number of options, alternatives. You lose control over the situation. In some cases, a problem can escalate if it's not dealt with promptly. For example, if you do not handle customer complaints properly, the customer is likely to become even more annoyed. You will have to work much harder to get this satisfactory solution. So what happens if you don't adhere to the customer complaint? What may happen if you don't handle properly?
Leave a bad review.
Okay.
Some might never come back if they feel like they've had a really bad experience.
Bingo. Bad experience. So a while ago, I'm going to start with you guys, okay? But I handle the problem promptly, okay? And the customer's complaints. So a while ago, I took my ex and her kids. We went out to dinner, and she had chosen this place that had a lot of great reviews online. So we decided to go check it out. We walked in, and the place was not busy. It was like around 4:30, early dinner. We walked in, it was not busy. So there was nobody at the hostess stand, and I noticed all the employees huddling around the entrance of the kitchen to the dining room. And the hostess was there along with a couple of servers. So finally, one of the servers comes up, not the hostess, and seat us down in a section of the restaurant that was not busy at all. So sat us down, give us a menu, and then, they took a while for us to get a water. And again, it was not business, it was staff, okay? So proceeded to, look at the menu, and it took a while for the server to come and, take our order. Once the server came in, I was ready. It's, again, family of four. I'm looking at about maybe $120, if possible, maybe $80 dropping in there on that restaurant. Appetizers, entrees, maybe a dessert too, some beverages, family of four. Check average, maybe $100, $80, $100. So I'm looking to see if that individual is going to offer the specials or the features of the day. So he comes over. he checks on us and then walks away because we're not ready to order, and takes a long time to come back. I almost had to flag him down. When he comes back, he starts taking the orders very cold. They not even offer any specials. So we place the order, takes a long time to get the order, brings it in, brings it to a table, drops it. I notice my cheese being moldy, so I, say, hey, can I get another slice of cheese? This cheese is moldy. So he takes it back, takes a long time to bring it back. Midway through a dinner, my glass is empty of water. Did not offer to come and replace it. A couple walks in. A couple walks into the front door. And I glance, and they're in the mid 30s, young couple, both of them blonde, whatever. So the hostess, goes up to the front desk and greets him really fast. And the guest sat right behind me, again, because it's not that busy. And the same server who took a long time to get our order and get our drinks, immediately but is on their table talking to them and making jokes and being very friendly, pleasant, not like he was with us cold and sticking the orders. Okay, so anyways, we're done, and I'm waiting for my check to be dropped. And so I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. They're not even cleaning our tables. They're not even taking the dirty plates off. So he finally, I see him, drop the check, take my credit card, and then he's coming back. And at the same time he's coming back, he's talking to the tables behind me, and from his back, he gives me my signed receipt from his back, not even looking at me on an acknowledgement mode, saying thank you. And I'm looking at him like, dude, really? What the hell's going on? Okay. So I, didn't decide to complain, but it should have been handled appropriately. It should have been taken care of because me as a customer, as a chef, I would expect at least a decent kind of service at this restaurant that got so great reviews. And I filed a complaint online, never got a response. It was never handled properly. So when you have a situation like that, either fuse it right on the spot, make sure your servers are well trained. If it's slow enough, make sure that you give the same service to a customer if it's busy or slow, and make sure that you adhere to any kind of complaint or a review as soon as you can to diffuse it. Make that customer happy before they walk out of the restaurant. In this case, nothing happened all the way around. Even when I filed my review online, I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I'm not going to go there. They could have had a $80 check average, and the guy could have had at least a good 19-20% gratuity. Not zero. Young kid. Okay. So make a choice, right? Implement the decision. Once you have made a decision, it must be implemented. With major decisions, this may involve detailed planning to ensure that all parts of the operation are informed or they're part of their change. The kitchen may need a redesign and new equipment. Employees may need additional training. You may have to plan for a short-term closure while the necessary changes are being made. You will have to inform your customers of the closure. Always, always inform your customers of anytime you're going to be closed. Okay. Evaluate the outcome. Okay. Whether you have implemented a decision, you need to evaluate the results. The outcomes may be give valuable advice to the decision-making process, the appropriateness of the choice, and the implementation process itself. This information will be useful in improving the company's response the next time similar decision is made. Okay. So evaluate the outcome. The outcome. Okay. Is it feasible? Is it beneficial? What is the outcome of this decision? Okay. Working in silos. What does that mean, working in silos?
But just doing things a specific way. Working independently.
Working in silos, right? Tunnel vision.
Right. Myopic.
Right, exactly. Tunnel vision. Working in silos. Is it beneficial?
No.
Really? Not unless that's your business model.
At least you're introvert or a hermit, right?
Right.
You don't want no contact, okay? So working in silos, in today's world, there's a large focus on completing specific tasks as simply and as cheaply as possible. In many cases, this can create a tunnel vision. Again, create a specific task as cheaply as possible. I know in this industry, we got to watch our costs, but what happens if you go that cheap?
Quality goes down.
Quality goes down, right?
Yeah. You sacrifice
Well,
quality.
Quality goes down. You have cheap products. You're going to service subpar quality. Is it one of those chrome bracelets, bed and breakfast place to deal with? Just slap some food on your plate down the line. What is it, right?
Yeah. And also sometimes it can take longer. The timing on stuff can take longer. Quality can go down. You know, because when you're tunnel vision, you don't have any outside reference point, and so you can also not have something to judge or balance your work by.
Right, tunnel vision. All good points. And again, as cheap as possible, many instances, this can be creative tunnel vision, which affects where employees only care about or focus on their own success and their needs to forget to take into account the business as a whole. This type of workplace is something referred to as working in silos. It can be detrimental to business if not managed correctly. Many times, have you ever heard of when you're in the workplace, you see something wrong and maybe you address it, and that individual, he or she may say, "It's not my job." Like, what? They don't want to do it, right? They're only working on their specific project. They don't see anything around it. The peripheral vision. Okay.
Chef,
Yes.
I have a quick question. Then how would you deal with people who don't pull their weight purposely, knowing that there's somebody else who's going to do it for them? How best would you deal with that?
We have many of those in the kitchen. Okay. My advice as a chef instructor, as a sous chef, as executive chef is don't do the job for others, because once you do it the first time, you'll be setting the precedence and they'll expect you to do it for them. Okay. That means you are making their paycheck. You're working 2 jobs and only get paid for 1. In a case like this, as a supervisor, as a manager, or as a chef, as a person in charge, okay, you are delegating duties to each and every one accordingly on an equal, fairly basis, okay, depending on their skills. If somebody is not pulling their weight and someone is not doing what they're supposed to doing, ask them why. Hey, what's going on? I noticed you're not being productive today. I have many of those in the past, right? Where somebody takes a mind to someone else. I said the prep list, and I started, giving the instructions on delegating how to do certain tasks, and that individual is pretty much riding the clock, not being productive. Okay, so I would approach them as, okay, where you at? What you got going on? What's going on? And if I see them that they're not even halfway done, or they're not being motivated or moved, then I ask, can I pull them aside? Hey, what's going on? I noticed that today you're not producing and you're not being productive as you were yesterday. Is there anything wrong? Can I be, or is there anything I can help you with? Because you don't know what's going on in their mind, on their personal life. Maybe something is going wrong, maybe not, or maybe they're just the type of person who don't want to work. In this case, if they don't want to work, if they have an issue at home in the personal life, they will most likely talk to you, and they'll on the side, not make it publicly, that there's something going on, that their mind is not in there. And on that part, then you can go back and say, okay, well, I'm going to give you something a little bit more stressful if this is the case. But you got to still watch and monitor their the work process. If they are those type of persons who don't like to work and like to take the easy way out, then you start documenting those individuals. Okay, because again, when you hire somebody, you don't know how they're going to turn out. you have no idea. You can take a look at the resume, you can take a look at their first impression, and you can, they can sell you on that. But once you get to your kitchen and they're not being productive, day in, day out, and somebody's picking up their job, you as a manager need to make a decision. You want to keep this individual, yes or no? And bottom line is business is business. Sometimes, you got to remove that liability from the kitchen because it's costing you more money to have the person who's never doing their job and someone else picking up for them.
Yeah, that's true. My biggest pet peeve is that at work, when on Saturdays, it's like our cleaning day, and I can get all the chores done myself, but I feel that on some days when I'm not there, they half-ass it. I still see dust and grime, and not everything's not completed. The plants aren't watered. And so now I've been switched back to Saturdays because that person just doesn't do it right, which is, to me, it's like I try to get on their case about it, but it's like a huge pet peeve of mine, so I just end up doing it myself anyways.
So in this case, your supervisors, if that happens, is like, you can ask, well, why am I being switched for Saturdays? What's going on? Because if everybody's supposed to work on the same equal level, if they're not pulling their weight, then it's up to your supervisor or manager's responsibility to remove this person from the schedule. Maybe have them do something different, or maybe get rid of them altogether. Business is business, and you as the owner are running an operation. You need to make profit. If somebody's not working for you, you got to get that liability off your schedule. Get them out. Maybe have several talks with them, and then log in that information. Put them on a file folder. So when it continues, first time, okay, I notice you're not producing, and so forth, so on. And if there's any issues, just let me know. And now this is what is expected, and this is what I would like you to be focusing on. And even go back and have a checklist of everything that is supposed to be done, and check it as you go. If it's not being done, leave it open. So the next time you sit down with them, ask them, so what happened? We were here a week ago, and this job is not getting done. I still see that it's not getting cleaned properly. We discussed it. We talked about it. Now this is the second time. And I might give you a fair warning. If this happens again, then we might have to let you go because you're not doing the job that you're getting paid for. You as the other person, in your case, you can address it to your supervisors. Hey, I noticed that I was off on Saturdays, which is fine, and I'll do what it needs to be done. But if we're getting paid the same, why is the other person is not doing the cleaning that we're supposed to be doing? Is there a checklist? Is there something that we need to be held responsible and accountable for? Maybe that's the way to go. Sometimes we tend not to have a conversation or talk about it, so we just do the work. We just forget it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it.
Yeah, that's true. And for me, I don't work in the kitchen, but to me, cleaning is just as important as what you're doing as cooking because sanitation is important. I've seen some messy people, and it bothers me so much when I see dishes piling up when it can so easily be fixed just to take a few extra minutes. If you're saving 30 seconds on getting something out, it's not as big of a difference as, having to stay an hour or two late having piles of dishes up, because I don't know, if I see a server come out and they're covered in grime and mess, I don't want my food served like that,
Right. So in the case, that individual is not as fast as it should be. They're not productive. They're different. I have many cases where, I'll give you an example. Okay. A while ago, I hired a pastry chef, and at the property, we were making our own cakes in the house, wedding cakes, birthday cakes, and we had this wedding slated. And when we interviewed this pastry chef, I interviewed her. She had a stellar resume. Culinary grad and so forth, so on, some experience here. I emphasized at the beginning about, we doing our own wedding cakes in the house, and we had this wedding that needed to be done. It was already booked, it was already sold. So she agreed upon the terms of the application, and she got hired as, she's getting paid for what, she apparently knew. So anyways, the day of the wedding comes around, and it was supposed to be an ocean beach style themed wedding cake. So she had the information, she had the schematics and the design and how the cake was supposed to be done. My fault was not that I didn't go back and double check with her about the wedding cake, and she was still in the 90-day probational period. So when the wedding cake came about, I was so busy that I didn't go back and check before she left. So right as they're about to pull the cake to be displayed, the catering manager comes around and she was in tears in my office because the wedding cake that this pastry chef had done, it looked like a giant Jabba the Hutt blob on a platter. It didn't resemble anything, color, shape, or form to the wedding cake that was specified on the event order. Okay. So in this case, I had to come to the conclusion that this individual was not going to be working for us. So I sat across the desk from her and I had to let it go. Sometimes when they're not productive, you have to let them go, or you have to retrain them. And they don't start picking up the slack. I mean, they're what they were supposed to be doing. Because remember, anytime you apply for a job, that application is a contract that you agreed upon the terms to work that job specification according to what they're talking about to get paid for. If you're not doing what you're not following your part of the deal on that application, then they're going to get rid of you. They should, retrain you, work with you, and not adios, hasta la vista. And sometimes it doesn't happen because, again, managers are afraid of confrontation. They don't want to come to that point. They don't want to even think about training or addressing the issue. So there's a way to address it without having the other person build up a wall and be defensive. Okay. Again, just pull them aside. Hey, I noticed that you're not completing your job. So next time before you do so, when you're done, just call me and we'll go over the cleaning and duty, see if they're done properly, just to make sure they're done, because we don't want to get no complaints in the morning crew, and see if they get it done. So
you retrain when you were, I don't know if you're still working at that same hotel, but do you still retrain them on sanitation, hand washing, keeping your aprons clean, and shoes,
Always do. Always do. Just like a lineup in the kitchen classes. Always do. So on that application, on the form, you state that, you're supposed to be ready on the job at a certain schedule, ready to rock and roll with your full uniform, a clean uniform. And how to keep it clean is make sure that you wear gloves, you wash your hands at all times. And nowadays, it's going to be more sensitive in this case about making sure you have personal hygiene and not get someone else sick or not carry someone else's disease on you and pass it on. So definitely nowadays, it's supposed to get more strict and more sensitive on the hand washing and keeping the places clean, and also the servers front of the house, make sure that they are adhere to the guidelines. If they're not, then that's a manager issue that they're not addressing it, or they don't want to see it. They just want to sweep it under the rug. But I've always done that every single time. Make sure you wash your hands, use gloves. Where's your hat? Why is your apron so dirty? Here's another one. If I have an extra one, here's a clean one. Make sure you take care of it. So always make sure that it's kept clean. Sometimes you can't help it, but always. So it's an ongoing training every single day.
I feel like I've met some people that they are amazing cooks. They're going to be great chefs, but if they can't keep the place clean, how are their employees going to be able to learn from them properly? I can't stand that, because especially right now, it's disgusting. It's not hard to keep your place clean, but I see that it's a huge issue, and lots of people just, the first week or so, they do pretty well, and they just kind of give up and stop caring.
Mm-hmm. So it's like I say, it's an ongoing process. Even in the kitchens, in the classrooms, we go in the first week, and we started looking around, see who's doing what, who's doing that, and always talk about give constructive criticism. I taught a foundations class the beginning of this year, and one table was always being discombobulated, always a mess, and everything was out of whack, and it was just, I didn't want to eat or taste the food, so I was always telling them, hey guys, it's 8:30. You got it, because I was teaching at 6 to 11, or say 6 to 10. And I was always telling them, hey guys, clean your tables. Remember, 9:30 is a presentation. Before you present your plates, your table's got to be completely uncluttered and clean before you sit down, before you come into your table, so I can take your food. And always on time, always before time. Hey, is this time? Where's your food? Hey, is this time? Let's clean up. I had an issue back in the hospital a while ago in Oklahoma City, where in a hospital where we're supposed to be keeping the kitchen spotless clean, and the way to kind of enforce that, I set a timer in the kitchen, one of those big timers that has a loud beep, Okay. I set a timer in the kitchen every 2 hours. The timer went off, and everybody dropped what they're doing. They were supposed to wash their hands, and everybody changed the sanitation buckets and clean your table, no matter what was going on. So we had to enforce it because, again, in a hospital, you got to be extra sensitive to the patients and also make sure nobody gets cross-contamination sickness or illnesses. So a timer helped us with that. Every 2 hours, timer went off, and everybody knew exactly what they were supposed to be doing. Wash your hands, sanitation buckets, and clean your tables. Sometimes you got to go to the extreme to enforce that rule and policy. Because
especially after hearing that story about that surgeon in the bathroom, I'm like, I feel like if I own a place, I want to be real strict because that is nasty.
It is. It is nasty. And I don't want to sidetrack too much on that one, but let me tell you why, guys, why it's so important. Okay. And it happens. Okay. I'm not making this story up. It does happen. Okay. So I'm gonna pop this link on the chat. Go check it out. Okay, it's only about 2 minutes long. Okay, let me see if I can share the screen with you guys. Here we go. Let me. Okay. And again, I'm not. There's a link. Okay. And this is what it looks like. So go check it and let me know your thoughts. What will you do in this case?
Yeah, I think my reaction would have been the same. Nah, I'm not eating that. No way.
Any thoughts on that one?
I just don't know how you can forget, especially when you go to the bathroom. It's like, that should just be a normal habit.
It's not that you forget, it's how it's who you are and what you are. You know,
it's behavioral.
Yeah, it's behavioral. It's either the way you were raised or just the way the people are. What do you think? You know, again, I don't want to get into a rabbit hole, but what do you think that, you know, what's happening into this world now, the current events? You know, now you see people wearing gloves and face masks in public. They shouldn't be. We shouldn't be in the situation, because if people actually washed their hands and had proper hygiene practices, we shouldn't be in this situation. And again, it happens. So just as you saw in the picture, in the video, how would you handle a line cook that does that? What would you do?
Gotta go. Gotta go. I don't know, either that or make his station for an entire shift.
Even if
Yeah.
I didn't work there, I would definitely let a supervisor know, because that's, and ask them to retrain the employees on hand washing and the importance of sanitation.
Right. So hand washing, first of all, before when you step out of the kitchen, aprons come off, right? Because as you saw, he's coming out of the stove with his apron on. That means he never took it when he was in there. That's gross. So aprons come off before when you step out of the kitchen. In K2, between K5, Escoffier, and K2, we have those bathrooms that people leave their aprons on the door handle or sometimes on the hook outside the bathrooms. They don't take the aprons inside the bathroom. And a lot of people forget their aprons. So I, pick them up once in a while and hold them until somebody claims them and not wash them and keep them as extras as students need them. So training, again, aprons off once they come out of the kitchen. And about washing the hands, you can't see inside somebody wash their hands in the bathroom because you're not going to be in there, right? Right next to them. Make sure they wash their hands. So make it a policy and a rule and a guideline. Anybody that's either coming back into the kitchen, wash their hands as they come back. Either from taking out the trash or taking a smoking break, using the restroom, whatever. As soon as you step in the kitchen, the first things first, you should wash your hands no matter what. Okay. So that should be the ongoing process. Like you said, in the workplace, the cooks or line cooks are not really clean. It's an ongoing training. Hey, you got to clean your station. Okay, we're about to get ready, or it's down. Let's go ahead and regroup. Let's clean up, reorganize for the next round, and let's make sure that you guys clean your hands. And again, some places don't have the hand washing availabilities close to them. It's in another location. So in my kitchen, what I've done is I've actually, worked with the maintenance department to install hand washing sinks close to the hotline where they can wash their hands, and work with Ecolab or whoever the chemical company was to install the dispensers, the towels, and the signage that goes with it. Because when the health department walks in and they see a sink with a soap and a sanitizer and towels but no sign, they will probably give you points off. So always trying to cover your bases as much as possible. And training goes a long way. So yes, definitely aggressive training in this case for the line cooks to be clean, wash their hands, and keep the station clean. And it's
I know it seems tedious, but it makes it so much easier every day than waiting till the last minute and then having to do so much work.
It is. When I was in the restaurants, when I work my line staff and I'm in the middle of expediting, working with them, as soon as we get over the rush, I say, okay guys, let's go, let's clean up. Before they even go outside and take the smoke break, let's clean up, let's get caught up, because the dish pit right now is kind of empty. There's not a lot of dishes coming back because everybody's fed. So let's get our equipment out of the way so the dishwasher can get it processed. So when the servers start cleaning the tables, he does not slam with pots and pans and what have you not, saute pans, sauce pans, whatever, and along with that, the tableware from the restaurant. So let's have a system. We'll make sure that we have flow. Because if you're going to wait, once everything's done and you're going to skip, you go to use the restroom, the smoke come back, and then all the servers are bringing back the plates and they're piling up in the dish pit. Now you're having the bus pans, so saute pans, sauce pans, and what have you not in the dish pit. It creates a bottleneck. So of a system, work in your head, work of a system, how to funnel that system, I mean, those pots and pans and dishes to get them clean and properly done, put away as soon as possible without having a bottleneck. So definitely clean after the rush, the between, during, and after a rush. So everything's kept organized and clean. Just ongoing training. There are places who actually during service, no matter what's going on, the line staff removes the maps, sweeps and mop, and puts the maps down without missing a beat for what's going on in the kitchen. So it's just training. But yeah, it happens. Tell you what, guys, it happens. I've seen it many times in our kitchens in school. Students are not washing their hands, and I refuse to taste the food if I don't see them or watch them or serve them washing their hands. I don't want to get sick. You guys want to get sick?
Definitely not. Don't want to get sick.
Anyways, I hope that kind of gives you a little bit of light, but it's up to management to address the issue and enforce the guidelines, especially. So especially now, since everything's being sensitive with the this virus going around. So working in silos, not good, right?
Right.
Tips to fix this problem. Remember the big picture. One, create a clear process for various teams, process that are standardized. Again, the system's got to be in place. Cross-train teams where process systems align. 3, set regular meetings to discuss projects across all teams. Allows everyone to know what is happening and identify possible input from their own teams. Create a review team involving all teams to review current process and review for improvements and standardization. Most important, get manager, director buy-in. If a team does not have the directive from the managers to cooperate, they will often ignore the initiatives that are being developed and continue to work in their silo. This type of change must be managed from the top. So in this case, Masana, it's up to management, your peers, to address the issues and to hopefully fix it and retrain the staff to properly adhere to the sanitary guidelines. If not, then, you know, it's mismanagement. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Creative thinking. Your creative side is most useful in identifying new and unusual alternatives. Too often you can get stuck in a pattern of thinking that has been successful in the past. You think of ways that you have handled similar problems in the past. Sometimes this is successful, but when you're faced with a new problem or when your solutions have failed, you may find it difficult to generate new ideas. So always have your wheel spinning, different things on how to approach the issue, how to fix it. Okay, don't get stuck in a rut. Okay, otherwise we'll be chasing your tail in a circle. If you have a problem that seems to have no solution, try these ideas and don't freeze your mind. Relax before trying to identify alternatives. Play what if games with the problem. For example, what if money was no object? What if we recognize a festival? What if we could change winter into summer? No, it is what it is. Borrow ideas from other places and companies. Trade magazines might be useful in identifying approaches used by the companies. Give yourself permission to think of ideas that seem foolish or that appear to break the rules. For example, new recipes may come about because someone thought of new ways to combine foods. Some of these new combinations appear to break the rules about complementary tastes or break boundaries between cuisines from different parts of the world. The rules of such thinking include a bar, a laundromat, of the coffee places, the internet access, and customers. Okay.
Question: if someone were to come up with a new recipe, would it be up to the restaurant to own it, or would the person who created it, would they own that recipe?
If you're working for a restaurant, it's the restaurant that owns it. So if you have an awesome recipe that you like to try, that is your family recipe, I will not give it out. Okay, I will definitely modify it to the specifications of the restaurant, but I will not give a full recipe, because once you have it, it's pretty much the recipe. You created it, but it's there because it's their name, it's a restaurant. Maybe they're going to give you credit on the end, the long run. But maybe they want to put Adam's, fluffy pancakes, for example, or Adam's French toast casserole, or Adam's burger, or they might call it after you to give you some credit, but ultimately they're the ones that probably own the recipe. So you can let them use it, but modify it. Don't give them a full recipe. Because otherwise, when you go on to your own place and then start creating your recipes, they might say you stole from them because they were created on that establishment, on those grounds, even if it was by you. Oh yeah, oh, laundromat, okay. This guys is 10:30. Let's take a 10-minute break. Gotta let my dog out. Let's come back at 10:40. We'll finish up. We got a few more to go, and then we should be done. Got it? Let's take a few minutes. Go check on the goldfish. Make sure that it doesn't run away.
Hey, Chef. It's Key.
Good, Ms. K.
I just wanted to apologize for like being out of uniform and being out and about today, but I really had some deadlines that I had to meet this morning. So I understand if you don't give me like credit for the day, but I've been listening the whole time, and I'm sorry. But
You'll get credit. You will not get a full zero. I mean, I'm not going to give you just zero. You have, you know, utilize some of your credits. You participate. You talk about the lecture. You know, so you got to do what you got to do. I understand. So you'll get credit.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm hustling, man. It's hard, and I can't sit in one place right now. But I do have my chef's coat. It's right here. You know, when I go and sit down, I'll put it on for you. But I had deliveries to make, and I had some kits I had to ship out. I'm doing a virtual baking class on Friday after school, and I needed to get all the ingredients at the mail, so I had to be there when the post office opened this morning, you know, so I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I understand. So, you know, you're still, my respects to you, because you're hustling to get the business up and running, and you're still involved in school, and now you're the more above and beyond what you're, you know, you're doing, because you're now, again, virtual baking class for kids in school, taking on more challenges, and man, it's a different aspect. So yeah, you're inspiration. You have accomplished a lot of things that a lot of people have not even think about, and even now, all the blood, sweat, and tears that you pour into your business, they're going to pay off.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's all going to be well worth it. One of these days, you're going to be in the top.
No. It's not one of these days. Today is well worth it.
Yeah.
Every day is well worth it. I get to wake up and work for myself and empower others. Like, I make kids so happy. I get to make food and treats and be a part of people's most special days. They think of me. It's my food that they're eating. I don't take that lightly. And I love being able to give people jobs. Like, I want so badly to be, you know, a 360-degree chef. Like, I want it all. I really do, so that I can give other people, good people, a place to work and eat.
There's this cool video. I don't know if you guys have watched it. It's called End Pizza. It's a really inspirational video of this owner, how they went through the ups and downs, had to make mistakes, and what have you not. If you have time to watch it, I suggest go and watch it. I'll put a couple of videos up in the link. I don't know if you guys watched the video on the week one with Chef Cliff or not. I usually show one what not to do when opening up on a restaurant, and I show this one on what to do as far as how to take care of your employees, how to build that relationship, and how to invest back. And it's a cool video. It's the guy that does it. He doesn't look like a big time CEO or a company owner. He just looks like a laid back, day-to-day kind of individual. So I'm gonna share the link with you guys later on before class over, so you guys can watch it if you have time, and your thoughts on those two individual ones. But it's an inspirational one. So yeah, it takes a lot, and like I say, you're an inspiration, and just keep on doing what you're doing, and it's gratification, making and people that have your product, eat your cookies, make them happy, and that's what makes us feel inside. That's bottom line. We are blessed to do what we do with what we're given, and we give to people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, it's time. Everybody back?
Here.
I know I see Sean, Miss Kelly, you're back. Autumn, you're back. So Lee, you're back. Who else? Steven, you with us still? My check.
I'm still here, Chef, by the way.
Okay, David's still here? Good.
Oh, yeah.
How about Mr. Landon, Steven, Juan Diego, Kayla? My check.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here, Chef.
All right, Steven?
Here.
All right, let's get rolling. Let's finish up. We got a few more minutes to go, okay? Let's pick up where we left off. Again, we talk about permission to think of ideas. Use random inputs to generate new ideas. For example, walk through the local shopping mall, trying to find ways to apply everything you see to the problem. Turn the problem upside down. Can the problem be seen as an opportunity? All the time, okay? Doesn't matter who you work for, what the issues are, there's always learning curve, okay? Always something to learn. For example, the road outside your restaurant that is only the only means to accessing your parking lot is being closed due to a bicycle race. Perhaps you can see the bicycle race as an opportunity for your business rather than as a problem. Capitalism, okay? Reasons, and again, reasons, yes, I don't know what this was. Yes, Chef, this is still important, okay? By Paul Sergil. There's no denying that some have accurately pointed to problems with the chain of command structure. Hierarchy was initially designed to create an efficient model in manufacturing operations. In essence, everyone's duties and objectives will stem from the top of the person's voice, vision, and directives in this case is to meet the manufacturing goals. Where there's an inherent challenge with this type of autocratic approach, there's also many advantages when applied to a reasonable manner. So just a little history about Escoffier. I don't know if you guys knew this beforehand, but if not, here we go. Who first developed a system of order in the operation of a professional kitchen. His vision was to compartmentalize the tasks needed to be done performed, identify the right person to oversee those tasks, and create a communication model. Delegate, right? Systems, structures in place. Executive chef and those who designed overseers to ensure the operations of the kitchen were met. It was the brigade. He created that still defines the some degree how kitchens continue to operate today more than 140 years. Still the same concept, still the same structure. Okay. Anyways, the kitchen brigade system is based on the underlying premises that take the consideration, responsibility, and authority, efficiency, and employee morale. So, first, responsibility and authority. Okay, Escoffier knew that given an individual the responsibility for outcomes without the authority to make decisions was the recipe for failure. Okay, to this end, contrary to the classic chain of command that he experienced in the French military, oversight positions were allowed to make many of the operational decisions of the departments as long as they supported the overall plan established by the executive chef. 2, efficiency. Got to be efficient. Okay. Considering the scope of the work in the kitchen and the immediacy of decision making, Escoffier saw that allowing these department heads to make the operational decision was a clear way to create a high level of efficiency. The larger scope decision making would remain on the shoulders of the executive chef. Employee morale. Employee morale is a big one. Okay, any organization that does not engage in a system of order as a designation for duties and a clear reporting structure will create an environment of uncertainty and eventually chaos. It becomes important not to only build this organizational system, but also to insist that all who work within the system abide by the order of the brigade. If that sounds like a military approach, that's because it is. Escoffier used his time as a chef in the French military to design this brigade. He saw how this type of hierarchy allowed the businesses of the battlefield to proceed with some level of confidence. So how does this apply to today's modern kitchen, and why is it important? Individuals respond to a very well and orderly, efficient, and consistent system and create that opportunity to share ideas and receptive of the environment. Today's employee may respond positively of a system of order, but unless he or she sees an opportunity to provide feedback to a person with an open mind, the employee will eventually seek an opportunity elsewhere or becomes less efficient and more antagonistic than the work in front of them. So It's a funny one. Keep calm, say yes, chef. Yes, chef is more than just a role response to a directive. Yes, chef helps to create pride, respect in a position, for position and commitment to a common goal. It is a reflection of the order and unity that allows kitchen to perform at the highest level, produce exceptional dining experiences. Okay, so pride, always take pride on the work that you do. Okay, it's not a bed and breakfast or chrome bracelets. We're not an institution that just slops food on the plate. Okay. The title, Yes Chef, is earned with over many years of incredibly hard work. It requires focus on knowing a great deal about food, cooking, and food presentation. It also requires a skill set that includes operational management, menu planning, human resources management, finance, marketing, and systems efficiency. When we respond Yes Chef, we're paying homage to the skills necessary to hold that title. You guys will be there. Respect. Similar to pride, by responding Yes Chef, we are accepting that individual holding the title deserves our respect. This applies if we don't always agree with the chef or we don't particularly care for them. This moment we say Yes Chef, we are saying I respect you as a person in charge. Without this level of respect in the kitchen, we quickly fall into a black hole of confusion and chaos. Common goal. Every day in the kitchen is filled with a need to hang it onto to order while staying to the truth of the food philosophy of the operation and the core staff. The common goal is to always produce exceptional food, exceed the expectations of a guest, build a sense of pride among cooks, and service staff for the experience that they build and realize the profit that allows it to restaurant to sustain itself. Yes Chef means that we are together in pursuit of those goals and are willing to able to follow the directives of the chef that was pictured in mind. I have a little one that I'm going to show you guys. Let's see, another video.
My world, we will call.
All right, so it's a 7-minute video, okay, common goal. I want to keep that in our mindsets, common goal, right? Because no matter where you come from, we all have the same common denominator, food, okay? Finally, order will only have staying power if you hire the right individuals to be part of the kitchen team. The right individuals will always have strong cooking skills, positive attitudes, and real desire to pursue this job as a career. This means that they will have the need to interact with the chef, offer observations and ideas, and see some of their ideas enacted, and feel part of the overall direction that the chef believes in the Yes Chef. It is important, but must include this level of involvement. It is also carry the operation to the future. So I'm going to stop here in a minute. I'm going to go back to the common goal. Now, we're all here because of food, right? That is our common denominator, correct? Pastries, culinary arts, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna share this video with you guys. It's only a 7-minute long video. Okay. Let's watch. Go ahead and watch it and let me know your thoughts of the common goal. Okay. And what we've been talking about. Let me put in the link on the chat. Here it is. Okay. 7 minutes. Take 8 minutes. We'll come back. Watch it and let me know your thoughts.
In my world, we will call hustlers. In the corporate world, okay?
was pretty good.
Anyone else?
I think it was really amazing the fact that he talked about how many individuals and people that just, you know, they use their smarts or genius in the wrong way. But, you know, especially I know that for people in the prison system, people who got out of jail, they need jobs, and especially when they get off on parole, it's, you know, it makes you think like they expect you to get a job within 6 months, but they give you nothing to help you in that situation. You know, no loans to help you live off of. You know, you just have to find a place to stay and get a job, and it's just not that easy. And I think that restaurants, they do hire people of all backgrounds, and that's kind of what helps people lift themselves up to being respected and having something.
Mm-hmm. Very true. And it's 100% true. Anyone else?
I don't know. I like that. You know how he pulled himself out of prison and went to work in the kitchen. There's a lot of that kind of goes on. I've run into quite a few people that were, you know, from the hood. They used to, you know, do unsavory things, and now they're in the kitchen, like, you know, bataneing a carrot. You know, it's a common, like, I think the kitchen is it's a cool place because it has open arms, doesn't really judge very much, you know, and it's a place for you to get a new start, you know, around a group of people that really are genuine and will do everything in their power to help you succeed.
Mm-hmm. What are the key words that he used in this segment?
Keywords?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Analyst. He said he understood, he was an analyst. He understood marketing and branding from the streets, right from the hood.
Right. Yeah. And running a diverse team of individuals.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And, also, he used the term blinders. He took his blinders off. He started working in a silo. We just covered that right now, silo. Okay.
Yeah.
Vision. He had a vision, intellect. He was using it the wrong way. You know, he went from a criminal to a respected leader. He also talked about leadership diversity. The one item that he talked about, and hopefully you guys caught it, he said what happened when he went to prison? Come on, guys.
I mean, really, did he start to change himself after he got out of prison, right?
Yeah, but in prison, he had a major turnaround when he said something about the stockbrokers, lawyers, attorneys, former DAs.
Oh, yeah.
He became an intellectual jacker, right? Robbing them of their knowledge, right?
He has to start educating himself.
Bingo, right? He had a vision. He understood marketing, branding. He understood diversity. He understood leadership. He had those traits, but he wasn't applying the right way. It took him time. He changed his wag. He had a different kind of grill, right? He started bulking up, had a smile on his face. So he started to market himself, sell himself to get to where his vision was, okay? You as the future culinarians, okay, we have one common denominator. And the thing that gets me is, you know, when we have this, you know, even in the classroom, in the kitchens, you know, think about how many instructors are there on campus, chef instructors.
A lot, I don't know, 20.
Right? How many years of experience do each one of us hold or have?
Like 20 plus years.
Right. So we have Chef Raph, Chef Cliff, Chef Scott, Chef Emily, Chef Justin, Chef John, Chef Tammy, Chef Kara, Chef Jackie, Chef Paula, that's 10. Chef August, Chef Lindsay, and myself, right? And Chef Gary and Chef Pablo. We got about 15 chef instructors. Each one of us holds an average about 30 years worth of experience. So 30 times 15, that's a lot of experience. You guys are in campus, okay? Be that intellectual jacker. Rob us of our knowledge, pick our brains. Even now, you know, when I ask you guys questions, the guys that don't, you know, classmates that don't participate, don't ask questions, ask questions. You know, I just give you a little rundown about your project towards the end of this block, right? Imagine what kind of wealth of information that I have or contain I can share with you guys. Keyword that I use, I love spreadsheets. Remember I was telling you guys about the recipe cost cards. I showed a couple of examples. We build them as we went, okay? There's a ton of information that I have that I can share with you guys. I'm just waiting for you guys to tap into, hey, Chef, do you have this? Can you share this? What about this? What about that? I know I'm just a sub for the next, you know, for until Chef Cliff comes back, right? But still, I'm here for you guys. I'm here for you guys to tap into what I know, what I have, what can I offer, okay? There's an inventory list in the, on the, whatchamacallit, on the portal. Those of you guys who are taking a look at what's coming up ahead at the recipe cost cards, right? Mm-hmm. There's an inventory list on that part, okay? It may give you a certain list of items, what to look out for, but even so, let me see if I can pull it up right here, okay? Where it is.
Excuse me.
I have a question.
Yes.
So one of the ideas that I had for my cafe that I might, you know, even just including in this project, I wanted to create some, you know, Instagram and Twitter and get different ideas on what people really want out of my idea that I'm having, and maybe even create polls on what people want to see. And one of the things I wanted to do is work with, you know, local artists and groups, you know, like RPG groups, because they gather several people. And I'm not sure quite how I should approach, you know, getting these people involved if they, you know, ever were interested in investing in that idea.
So how to get people involved in your project? You know, it's going to be a selling factor. You know, there's ways you can go about it. So this is just for your project or in real life, like in
kind of both. I mean, it might not end up on the project, but this is definitely something that I've been wanting to do, just you know, for the future.
Okay. So how to get people involved into your project? So, you know, there's a lot of college kids that are on the same major of you know, what you described. They want to experience, want to do the most they can, and sometimes they don't have the experience to do so. So maybe tap into some of them. If you know anybody that's going to school on that major, hey, can you you know, help me out with this project? You know, I have this in mind. Can you start you know, working their skills, working the magic, and help you build that project? So tap into somebody that is looking for practice, how to make certain things.
For example, one of the things I wanted to do is like with licensing, you know, there's certain groups that they have their own merchandise, and I would love to be able to sell it in, you know, my store or restaurant. You know, I think I could get a lot of profit from that and get, you know, a group of people that are going to want to come in, you know, often.
Okay, like you want to have some merchandise in your store that for you to sell from them, for them, or for yourself from your own. So you look into your license, your business license.
Yeah, like there's this group on Critical Role. They have different merchandise, and a lot of people, like right now they're just online, but I know there's people that would prefer to buy it, you know, hands-on, where they can see what it looks like, you know, make sure it's not damaged, and then be able to have a platform and a place where they can actually play these games and, you know, have these products.
So in this case, partner with them, you know, picture your concept. Once you have your concept fully filled out and laid out, say, hey, what about, you know, I'm looking into this concept, I'm looking into the business part of it. Once I get my brick and mortar and platform going, what about if, you know, you can go ahead and start, you know, have this space available for you to have your merchandise, that to be able to sell it. You know, we'll sell it for you, but let me keep some part of the profit, or work out of a deal that you can have, keep part of it as you sell it. You know, maybe they want to sell it for $15 a piece, and just an example. So mark it up to maybe $18 or $20, so that way you can make some kind of profit out of that real estate property, allow them to have on your property. So it's a great partnership.
Thank you. It's definitely something I want to do. And also the video just made me think about, you know, I definitely would want to hire people even if they were, you know, in the prison system, because I want everyone to have a chance, you know, to be able to be someone.
I work with people in the prison system. I work with convicts, ex-felons, and convicted felons. And one of them, he's a very successful executive chef. He came across, he was switching careers from the oil rigs in West Texas, Modessa, to culinary field. When I met him, he was in the mid 40s. I was in my 30s, and he was my executive sous. Very talented, very strong. Of course, he was a hothead, but he was on his fourth DUI, third or fourth DUI. So he would have a breathalyzer in his car, his vehicle, because he could not drive until he blew into that thing. Anyways, very successful. Now he manages the military, the Army retirement community northeast of San Antonio. Feeds about 800 guests, 800 residents, 3 meals a day in San Antonio. He's been there for like about the last 70 years. I worked on another one in Oklahoma in my purchasing department, you know, from the DOJ, trying to get it back into the system. So for us, it was free labor. They were bringing him aboard. They were working with me for certain hours, but I had him in the dry storage. Kept the place spotless, like nobody's business. Shelf to sheet, everything organized, everything counter, swept, mop, the freezer, which everybody hated to go in there, very well organized. He knew exactly where everything was. So sometimes you find those individuals in the system that their work ethics are superb, and they want to do the best they can because they want to get out and want to go back into the real life. And sometimes you got to be careful, because sometimes, you know, when they're convicted of a certain offense, you cannot bring anybody that's, you know, maybe it has a sex offender, maybe it's a theft, or, you know, certain offenses that might put you at risk or your staff at risk. So you got to be careful on that part.
Yeah, I do agree that there are certain situations that I might not be as willing to do, you know. Right.
But they do work really well on that part. So yes, it's you know, you can do so. And I have here, let me see if I can pull it for you guys to go watch of this guy's concept. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's called N Pizza. I'm gonna put the link on the chat site, you know, for you guys to look at it. Again, on your own time. It's not homework. It's not required. I just want you guys to. Let me.
So this side that you're seeing here is actually our office.
Quiet down, okay. So let me pop it up real quick, okay. And this should give you more of an idea how to tap into the local community and where to go from there, how to maybe come up to your project, okay. This is the link on the chat. Watch it as you may, and I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the screen. Here he goes. Michael Lastoria, co-founder and CEO of N Pizza. Okay, an inside look at N Pizza and restaurant spaces. Okay, he's going to probably answer some of your questions you have, Ms. Autumn, about you know, partnering with somebody. His concept again is pizza, but if you go through this whole video, it'll make you understand better of what he's trying to give back to the community. It's a very, very cool. He's a very cool CEO of his establishment. So watch it.
One thing, as like an artist, I personally want to get involved with local artists, because I know how hard it is to actually get a kind of gig to be able to make enough money off of your talents.
So speaking of artists, watch his video. I'm not going to give you spoiler alert, but he does talk about local artists in the community and how they contribute to his project. So watch it very closely, and you know, it'll give you some more ideas on the process. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So anyways, I wanted to share that with you guys. But again, we're a bunch of instructors and on campus. We all have our own different experiences. And again, jack us for our knowledge. Here's, I was talking about your project for the final of the 6 weeks of this block, right? There's an inventory built in on that portal. This is my inventory from when I used to work in Missouri, okay? We cared about $50,000 worth of product. Anything and everything you can possibly imagine is right here. Produce section, lettuce, mushrooms, so forth and so on. So let me go back real quick. Like here, example, right? You want to have Granny Smith apples in your recipe on your menu, okay? So how do you figure out how much an apple costs? Where an apple here, a case is $27 a case, has 88 apples in that case. The pack is one, so one case of 88 at $27. So you take $27 divided by 88, that's how much one apple costs you. Now you want to figure out the ounce of the apple, kind of think about how much one apple might weight, 8-10 ounces. So you take 27 divided by 88, divided by 10, and that's how much 1 ounce of an apple is costing your recipe. So inventory, okay? Like I said, I love spreadsheets. I got a lot of information from the places that I worked at. Cheeses, you want to have cheese on your project, butter, eggs, what kind of eggs you want to have, your baking products, potato hash, ice cream if you don't want to make it, yogurts, bratwurst, bacon if you want to have a brunch or bacon in your hamburger, club sandwich, any kind of beef, ham, pork, sausage, seafood, crab, fish, lobster, oysters, scallops, shrimp, poultry, anything you can possibly think of. Frozen appetizers, batters, breads, cakes.
Is there a link to this somewhere?
No, it's my own personal one.
Can I get a copy of it?
That's what I want to hear from you guys. That's what I would like to hear. Okay.
Yeah, this is great information. I have an inventory sheet, but it's not this extensive. It's pretty great.
See, that's what I want to hear from you guys. I want you guys to jack me for my intellectual, for my, rob me with my knowledge. Okay, that's what I want to lead you guys to. Okay, brownies, cakes, cookies, doughs, pies, pizza, shells, toppings, tortillas, vegetables, dry goods, applesauce, capers, cornstarch, cranberry, dry craisins, marshmallows, molasses, noodles, potato pearls, baking powder, beans, canned goods, coconuts, filling peach pie, hoisin sauce, pretzels, condiments, crackers, dressings, extracts, flours, bread flour, dark brown sugar, golden brown sugar, confectionate sugar, juice, mixes, nuts, from cashews to peanuts to oils, hazelnuts, sesame seed oil, olives, pastas, peppers, pickles, rice, sauces, soup bases, spices, syrups, toppings, vinegars. Even if we had a full pastry shop, cookies, pies, toppings, baking soda, canned goods, extracts, flour, sugars, mixers, nuts, again, oils, anything you can possibly think of, imagine. Even back here at the bottom, let me go back on the yellow highlighter item, okay? The high dollar items, red wine, the box, the ones we have in the dry storage, white wine, beef tips. What about waffle mix? We have also the chocolate you guys in baking, the guitar chocolate, the wafers, a little, disc. Albert Ooster, the white top chocolate and the dark chocolate. Those are the blocks that we have in the dry storage. Those are the chocolates. Hazelnuts, cooking cherry, Madeira, bourbon, Kobe beef tenderloin, foie gras, turkey loin, tuna, lobster meat, scallops. Anything you can possibly imagine is right here.
Chef, who do y'all order from? Is it like Cisco or Benny Keith?
U.S. Food.
This one we ordered from 3 companies. Cisco was the main, US first, Service was second, and Benny Keith's was third.
Do you use certain companies for certain types of items, and if so, what are they?
The staples, we used to use Cisco. Your oils, your canned goods, your pastas, your flours. Specialties, there's the different companies. Here in Texas, I used to use Jake's out of Houston. They dealt with venison meat, foie gras, all the specialty items. Here in Missouri,
what was it?
What was that company?
Jake's out of Houston.
Okay. What was the first company? Cisco?
Cisco is one. U.S. Food Service, another one. Benny Keith is third. Labatt is fourth, is expensive. You got PFG, Preferred Group Food Service, that's four. Produce companies, you got here in Austin, you have Fresh Point, you got Hardee's, you got also, what else? I forget the other one. There's about three produce companies. So there's a lot of places that you can order from.
Sounds good.
And the beautiful thing of the spreadsheet, again, rob me for the intellectual knowledge, okay? On the bottom tab, you're gonna learn how to do a P&L statements. Those of you guys who are taking entrepreneurship, it's part of the project. On the second tab here, okay, month-end inventory. When you count your month-end inventory, you plug in your, so here it says, let me see if I can zoom in, okay? Right here at the top, the opening inventory is last month's closing inventory. This is how much money was spent on food. That's how much money was counted. Everything was counted, okay? That's how much in credits, you know, comps, food away, burnt steaks, spoiled food, so forth and so on, okay? And here is how much sales were for that month, okay? So all the information is plugged in and it gives you the 36% food cost, okay? And again, the total goal for this one is to be 30% or below. 36 is your, it's a lot. So, yeah. So it all depends on your sales, okay?
Raise prices by $1.
Right. So the beautiful thing, again, this is a part of the P&L statement, which is very crucial in operating a business. Like I said, I love spreadsheets. I'm all about numbers. Yes, about food, recipes, the texture, the flavor. But if you don't know how to make money, you may not have a job. So inventory, anything, everything you can think of, and the totals. I got 4 different kinds of inventories. This is just one of them. I even got a beverage inventory that has all the alcoholic beverages from Louis XIII to Lone Star, how much it costs to bring in. Like Lone Star, I think it's 80 cents a can. Shannon Box, like $1 and some loose change per can. Yeah. So I even
have inventory on equipment like your knives and your mixers and cutting boards, stuff like that.
Overhead.
I get inventory in pepper supplies, as far as in the parchment paper, gloves, hats, all that, chemicals, soaps, and what have you not. But there is a place you can possibly look into how much that equipment costs. It's called Webstaurants. Okay. Put it here in the chat.
Webstaurants, good.
Yeah. It's called. .com. Okay. You can take a look online and it gives you a whole bunch of items, industrial kitchen size equipment. You can type anything, it'll search it, it'll give you the price per item. Okay. So again, if anybody's interested in for me to share this with you guys, I will definitely more than be glad to share anything that I have that can benefit you and help you along with the project. If you guys would like this inventory spreadsheet along with the other ones that I might have, go ahead and type it on the chat sheet. Go ahead and type it on the chat sheet so I can see you guys and I can send it to you guys. All right, so who was that? I know Miss Kate, right? Sean, anyone else?
Sure. Send in right now.
Okay, who else?
Yeah, I want one too.
Okay, Autumn, who else?
I would like a copy.
Kayla, okay. Who else, guys? Who's the answer to?
Seth, you can send me one. This is David Longoria.
David, okay.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Okay, David, I got, okay. I got Kayla, I got Sean, Autumn, Kayla, David, and Lily. Anyone else? Anyone else? Oh man, if I was you, I'd be jumping all over the spreadsheet like white on rice, man. But again,
Can I ask you another question?
sure.
When, I don't know if you've ever tried to design a restaurant, but when looking at like blueprints or using, graphing kind of formats, do you have a certain website or something that you could recommend when getting into like the design of a restaurant?
No, this one built-in entrepreneurship. I haven't gotten into a website where to build it, but I know there's one on that. I'm going to go to pull it up and send it to you guys, share with you guys by email from my previous classes in entrepreneurship. So you guys can have it, how to design it from the inside and outside. It gives you kind of a blueprint of a food truck and also mortar and brick restaurant. So is that it? Kayla, Sean, Autumn, Kayla, David, and Lily. That's it. No one else? All right. I'm going to share with you guys through email. Okay. I'm going to send you what I got. When you have a chance, please take a look at it. If you don't understand it, I believe tomorrow we're still on the same with you guys. Ask me questions tomorrow on it, okay? So take a look at them. I'm going to send you, I think, 4 inventories. I'm going to send you the Chateau on the Lake, Lakeway, Midwest Regional, and Lancaster University inventory. Plus also, I'm going to send you a beverage inventory. So I'm going to send you, I think, 5 spreadsheets. Go take a look at them and let me know what you guys think. It's going to be a lot of massive information, but if you don't have this information here on the inventory, it may be a little bit harder for you guys to cost out your recipes, okay? So, that'd be cool.
Awesome.
All right, guys, so that's it. And any questions for me? And not, be on the lookout for that email. Again, take a look at the spreadsheets. Again, we're here, get our knowledge, right? I can't force you guys to give you guys what I have. You guys don't want it or not interested, right? So if you're here, get the most out of you can, okay? All right, guys, if no other questions, then I will see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. And let's go for one more day until Chef Cliff comes back.
Thank you, Chef. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're welcome. Okay.